One more time, welcome back to ICEBreaker. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for raising $32,000. And thank you for being here for our amazing upcoming run of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 with B.5. Let's carry on.
All right, awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Expedition 33. Thank you, everyone, so far for your donations all week, and it's been an incredible amount, just like already that we've gotten. We're like a little bit past halfway now, and it's just been absolutely incredible. So thank you, everyone, for the donations. I'm B.5. I've been running this game since launch, Expedition 33, and I'm going to be showing you 80% expert Glitchless today. So this is going to be hardest difficulty. It's going to be without any major glitches, no sequence breaking. And so we're going to go through the whole experience, like main story that you would go through in your regular playthroughs. But yeah, we did have a bid war. Actually, before we confirm the bid war, let me introduce Zero real fast. Let me feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Zero. I've also been running this game since near release. I've done a lot of the routing on expert categories, and very much looking forward to this run.
Awesome. So let's see what the bid war was. Which one, English or French?
Hold tight for me real quick.
The other thing about this category is that it's going to be on current patch. So there was an update middle of December that had the thank you update. And part of that they did, we'll talk about like what exactly that update did, but the run is slightly slower now on current patch. So this is the first time that like Zero routed and like made adjustments to the route, just like it was like a week ago, I think the latest adjustments were. And yeah, so like we're showing some like fresh routing here, and it's, you know, it still like works really smoothly, and I'm excited to show you like the new like current patch adjustments. So if you've seen this run before in like like GDQ or somewhere else, then yeah, you're in from some nice little adjustments here. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing that and also listening to it and potentially understanding what's going on. Whether that's better or worse for spoilers is your call, because after all is said and done, we will be playing in English this evening.
Ooh, okay. We get to hear Mael scream periods several times. All right. Then let's get started. Yeah. I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Good luck.
Ooh. All right. So we start off here in Lumiere. It's going to be kind of similar to Paris. And this game's very French. Most of us kind of know this already, but it's yeah, it's really great how much they express it. We're going to start off by taking this flower, and then we're just going to try to catch up with Mael here. And she just instantly outspeeds us. Like, she's got her supersonic boots on, so she's outpacing us already. Yeah, so we start off with Gustav here. He's our first person we're going to get introduced to combat soon. Yeah. Zero, maybe you want to introduce the key ideas behind combat and how it works?
Of course. I was waiting until we got into a duel. So, so every character has HP and something called AP. AP are what you use to, are like points to use skills, kind of like mana in a lot of games. Every turn you generate 1 AP. If you attack, you also generate 1 AP off that. Then every character has their own unique skill set and their unique like niche, like quirk or mechanic. For Gustav, it'll be his charge system, which will let him charge up for bigger attacks. And we will see that here. There's additionally consumable items we can use to restore health, give us AP or revive characters. We will sometimes use AP. We'll never really, hopefully ever, never use the revive. There's also a dodging and parry system in this game. So you can see there Mael try to hit Gustav and B.that parried it, which means you counterattack if you parry all the hits. We only want to do it once though, because we don't need the second counterattack to kill. Because we do enough damage with this overcharge here. Gustav, every time you dodge or parry, you build a charge. He can go up to 10 charges, and 7 out of 10 charges with the damage we did earlier clears that fight.
Yep.
That fight there is a little bit of our like combat tutorial. It's very simple at this point, but we'll keep on expanding on it as we unlock more and more characters. For now, it's Mael sprinting away from us again. If only we ran that fast when we controlled her.
Yeah, if only. But yeah, to give a little overview of the story. So this game, very story focused, very narrative focused. Definitely recommend everyone to go play it themselves if they haven't yet. Like, it's been very critically acclaimed, and it's for a good reason. But yeah, just to give a little introduction to the story. So we are going through, and everyone's talking about this gommage, and essentially what the gommage is everyone of the oldest age gets Thanos snapped out of existence, and it's because of the paintress that we can see like 1,000 miles in the distance at the monolith whenever she paints a new number. So right now she's going to paint the number from 34 to 33, and when that happens, all the 33-year-olds just poof, vanish. So we're going on an expedition to try to stop her, and we're really we have high hopes that we can do it this time. We've gone on like 60 expeditions before this.
Say, surely this time.
Yeah, surely.
A bit less than 60, I think. Because it started off at 100, but they didn't send expeditions for like the first 15 years after the first one. So like 50. It's actually cool. You can see the monolith in the background if you look closely enough, with a number painted on it behind this fountain that Peter will try to jump right now. Queen.
Yeah.
Little shortcut there. This game isn't platforming focused. Like there are some like jumping parts in the game. Like you got to jump to a certain item. That's not too important for our purposes, but in terms of speed running, good queen movement does make a very big difference in here, more than you'd expect. That can be a bit frustrating at times because you have a really bad tendency in this game to just get stuck on a random pebble on the ground and not be able to move, which is a point of frustration at times. But we are skipping all cutscenes, so we missed a lot of plot there. But the gommage just happened, and number 33 got painted, and Gustav's ex-girlfriend Sophie just vanished from existence. And now we're just like, this is the festival that happens before every expedition. These are Gustav's apprentices here. They give him this journal to write down what he sees on his expedition, so one day they can learn from it. And then we're gonna go talk to Mayel, see how she's doing, because she doesn't like these kinds of social gatherings. She's a bit more of like an outcast. But she does love dueling, though. That is her passion. So she will ask you to duel here again. Luckily, this one is optional. She's quite a bit tankier in this one compared to the tutorial. And assuming no mishaps, B-Dud will refuse the duel because it does take like a minute of time, and you don't get much out of it. You get a festival token that you can redeem for something, but it's
I could have done it for the lulz, you know.
True.
You didn't think about that.
Well, it would be funny if she beats you. I agree.
It's the accidental miss menu, you know.
Yeah. It has happened.
Just to give more people time, give people more time to get their ending bid war donations in.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely vote, donate, and try to pick which ending you want because.
Oh yeah, there is one true ending, and if it doesn't win, I'm going to be upset. So, do with that information what you will.
I personally believe. Well, that's I believe. I know my ending is the best ending, so I'm hoping that one wins. But you guys can try to prove me wrong with your donations. Alright, so some story stuff happened. Our expedition got basically destroyed by an old man on the beach and some Nevrons, which are monsters that we'll be seeing more of very soon. Gustav washes up on like the shore here of Spring Meadows with like 1 HP, and this is where kind of like the game really starts. So we got our first Nevron battle right here coming up, and right here, we're doing something called a cutscene menu. Essentially, when a cutscene is about to start, once you like pass the trigger, there's like 2-3 seconds where the like horizontal bars above and below the screen fade in before the cutscene loads. And if you pause right before you enter that trigger, you can then menu for a bit before it loads. So we're gonna try to take advantage of that as much as we can, so we can squeeze in menuing without having to stop like gameplay. Good fight there from B-Dud. The fight's really simple, but you might have noticed that he shot that glowing orb and the Lance Leader's head. First of all, you can shoot in this game. It costs 1 AP. It's really weak, generally speaking, but you can do stuff like shoot weaknesses, for example, or break certain body parts at times. And it is very useful. And once we get strong enough, even the gunshots themselves, the damage could be relevant at times. But that's going to be a common theme early on. We'll be shooting weaknesses to do a big burst of damage. They're generally percentage-based, like their percentage of the enemy's max HP. And then that plus an attack and a counter finishes off the enemies. I didn't really mention it yet, but counters do a lot of damage compared to what you like have in terms of attacks and skills early on. It eventually does fall off somewhat, but early game countering is a big source of damage, so it's important that we have our parries like unlock pretty much. And the other thing about pairing, we didn't really mention the timing of this, and what separates like story from expert and expeditioner is that the parry timings and dodge timings are much more strict on expert and expeditioner than they are in story. A parry is about like a 0.21 second window. A dodge is like a 0.3 second window. On story, a dodge is like a half a second window. Or sorry, parry is like a half second window. So a parry on story is easier than a dodge on expert. So it's very impressive that like BDUT gets these timings down on lock. It's pretty easy early on, but it gets harder and harder as the run progresses.
Yeah. It's really cool the design behind all the dodge and parries, because it's not like, it definitely evolves a lot over time. They rely on a lot of different cues the entire time. So like they start out by like trying to get you used to visual cues and audio cues, but by like the more and more I play this game and speedrun it, I become more appreciative of how they designed how expressive all the enemy attacks are. And like sometimes later there's even fights where they try to like mislead you by like, if you're honing in on visual cues too much, when you should be honing in on like rhythmic cues or audio cues instead, stuff like that. So it's really cool like trying to master all the parries and stuff. And spending more time on this game to kind of like perfect all of that.
And
this game really does.
If you're not as familiar with this game and how it compares to some of the other things where like the mechanical constituent parts would be similar, if I have this right, and I'm going off of the internet, so take it with a grain of salt, but the parry timing in Sekiro is approximately 25% wider than it is here on Expert.
Oh damn, I didn't know that. So yeah, we're playing the real hardest game here.
Something like that. I mean, if you didn't know, one of the main designers of Expedition 33 a long time ago had a YouTuber, I mean, still does, but would regularly post hitless boss attempts in Souls games. So unsurprising to see how that was honored here, but the way it's woven into this combat is really joyful.
It really is.
It's a very nice change from like classic turn-based, where if you're under level, there's only so much you can do. In this game, if you're good enough, you can win at level 1. It's just gonna take you a very, very, very long time, but you can get there eventually. There's nothing that is unblockable in a way.
All right, chat suggests that the timing here basically matches with Lies of P, which, yeah, no, that game does not mess around.
We got a bit unlucky there with this fight, so the targeting on these guys is random, and we need to generate at least 1 AP for Gustav to get the fast kill here. So now, because they both targeted Lune, Gustav has to skip his turn, and Lune has to shoot it. These are flying type enemies. They are like 80% to dodge any move. The flying type enemies are generally very squishy, so you just end up shooting them. It's kind of like the intended mechanic for them. And 4 AP Gustav is not strong enough to take out of the Ballesters there.
Yeah. We'll have like, there's a few fights where we'll definitely like change up little tiny strats based off of like if we get AP early with some characters. It's nothing that will save like a huge amount of time, but it definitely like adds up and is worthwhile going for if we get lucky. Didn't get that cutscene menu where I would have put on like a weapon and 2 Pictos, but that's okay.
Yeah, you just do it on the next jump. So we didn't explain Pictos yet. So every character has 3 Picto slots, and as the game progresses, you can pick up and like unlock Pictos from fights and whatnot. And Pictos kind of give you like a bonus effect on some stats. So for example, the first one we unlock Dodger, it gives you 12 speed and 3% crit rate. And it makes it so every time you dodge an enemy attack for like once per enemy action, you get 1 AP back. Whereas normally you don't get any AP back from dodging an enemy action, you only do that from parrying enemy actions. We also got a one earlier called the Critical Burn, which gives you 25% more crit rate on burning enemies. And there we got Dead Energy too, which if you kill an enemy, you get 3 AP back, which you actually see for the first time instantly right here. Because you kill those 2 flyers, and each one it takes 3 shots, but you get 3 AP back from killing them. Also, these are optional fights. We do take optional fights in Expert because we need EXP, since in Expert generally, enemies are about like 80% more HP than they are in story. It fluctuates based off the fights. It's not 80% everywhere. Some fights are even the exact same health pools. But yeah, we have a lot more that we have to melt through, so we need to get skills.
I'm not surprised to know that
Did
an
not.
expert in particular you need to do akin to, I kind of was trying to keep my game designer or would-be game designer from another life hat off, but these kind of things are often referred to as vertical progression versus horizontal. So when you got into stuff like the pictos and skill development, that's all horizontal progression. Your character can do more things. The things they were already doing have additional properties bolted onto them. And the way that those systems really widen your combat options and I'm sure dictate the actual course of the route over the run is going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, as like we unlock more stuff, obviously we'll have more options, and you'll see that in our damage output. Like, we'll have a completely different setups as we progress, and we'll be outputting more damage, and we'll have to do setups a bit differently. In terms of stats, though, I mean, stats are important, but they're not that important. I think its speed matters more than anything, and on this patch especially, might does matter more because... there was, I don't know if you want to call it a bug, but in the patch before this one, there was a hidden 10% more damage boost on some pictos that wasn't supposed to be there, like it wasn't in the description. That energy too was one of those pictos. Despite there was the effect that's supposed to give you, which is 3 more AP per kill, but it also gave you 10% more damage, and that made the fight we're doing now a lot more lenient.
Oh damn!
Because it's a lot. So this guy right here is a big pain. The reason he sucks is because when he gets down to about like 35% HP, 33% HP, I don't know the exact threshold. He'll go into like the next phase and he will gain 7 shields. And the way that shields work is that you have to knock him off before you can damage them. So 7 shields means we have to hit him 7 times before we can start doing damage again. The kill we want to get is we set up a big overcharge with Gustav where we mark and like have powerful and get his HP past a certain threshold. And then we one-shot a overcharge and skip that phase completely. But because of how bad the 10% damage reduction is, it's incredibly unlikely we get it on this patch, even if like the fight goes really well and we get the crit, which is only a 48% chance as well. So this was a common reset point for like PvE crit attempts.
Yeah.
We still want the crit, but even with the crit, we're unlikely to get the kill. And I see something has gone wrong here, but I'm not sure what.
I don't have burn on. I'm just gonna go for it. I mean, I'm like way under damage, and this is not gonna crit, but
yeah, it's like you're not getting the fast kill anyway. You might as well.
yeah, it's just gonna take a lot longer to finish this guy.
Yeah. So there was a small AP management mistake at the start. I think he did like 1 extra shot of Lune, and sadly the game didn't bail us out by targeting her to get the AP back. But it's not a big deal. The burn is to like the burn damage matters, but it's also to proc critical burn for that 25% extra crit rate. And you know what? We could have just not crit with the 48% anyway. That is often what happens. There's also
there is, as it turns out, a 52% chance of that not happening.
It's actually more like 80.
It's XCOM rules, I see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you mess up, the crit rate goes up to like 90%. But if you're doing the fight properly and you have a good setup, it's like 10%. So yeah, we're gonna have to sit through here quite a bit. At the start of the fight, Vito shot a weak point, that glowing orb in the Vex body, which does, I think, like maybe 10% of his health bar. And at this point, once he goes to the next phase, if you don't parry him, he will start charging up. And when that happens, that weak point respawns and you can shoot that again. So that's why he dodges there instead of doing the counter for damage. The orb reappears and you can shoot it again for a really big chunk of damage. But the other thing we should mention here is the EXP system. So enemies give a certain amount of EXP, that much makes sense. But there's also a bonus EXP system where if you don't get hit at all during the fight, you gain 20% extra EXP. Oh, just barely didn't kill.
Just barely.
That's right. Lune will finish it next turn.
Yeah.
That actually works kind of weird in this game because you'd think it'd be just 20% for all enemies, right? But no. What happens is when you kill an enemy, it'll apply that 20% bonus on them. And then you kill another enemy, it'll apply the 20% bonus on that enemy, but it'll also apply the 20% bonus again on the first enemy you killed. And that affects like EXP because that means the first enemy you killed gets like 40% bonus EXP or 41%, whatever.
So part of the routing comes down to defeating enemies in fights in the right order.
Exactly.
Nice.
So for that fight right there, we'd love to be able to kill the best just so if we have a bad fight, they don't get in the way of turn order. and like we can go faster. Plus, we can use them for dead energy procs to get AP back with Gustav. But we can only kill one and have the EXP route still work, because if you kill two of them early, Vec is the last one killed, and you gain less EXP overall. And that makes it so we don't get level 7 in time for our next big boss fight.
Yep. We're going to camp. We got a lot of required camp visits, and we don't like them because they, well, they heal us, and every time we come back to camp, normally that would be a plus, but for speedrunners, that's actually a bad thing. We'll get into it later, but general concept is we want to be sticking to low health for pretty much whenever we can during the run later.
I would like to take this brief moment of just traveling on the continent to say, fuck ice.
Yeah.
So true.
But yeah, that there was a continent, it's like the world map of the game. We'll be traversing the continent because we have to get to Monolith, which is literally the other side of the continent. So you'll get to see a lot of it, but we're not going to be doing much of the side stuff on the continent. This is our next area here, Flying Waters, and pretty much what's going on in the story now is that we removed the Lune. We didn't really talk about her mechanics too much because they don't come into play too early on. For now, she's kind of like the black mage of the game. She has fire and ice spells. Ice can slow, fire that can burn enemies, which is a status that does damage every turn for 3 turns. I also glossed over Mark, which he got used on a Vec. Mark is a status that makes the next hit do 50% more damage, but it's consumable, so you can only do it once, which is why on the Vec, after he applied Mark before the overcharge, he made sure to dodge with Lune and not hit a Vec, so not consume the Mark. Because we want the 50% boost on our big hit with the overcharge. So here's another optional fight. These are Demonures. These guys are fantastic because when you shoot their mines, they explode, and they hit all enemies, so you can do these really quickly, and they get really good EXP.
Yeah, what's next?
Fun fact. Yeah. Fun fact, every optional fight from this point on that we actually defeat will have a Demonure, at least one Demonure in it. They are very handy enemies. That is literally just for EXP, it takes 5 seconds. It used to matter more for money as well in the older patch, but on new patch it's not really as relevant anymore because we'll be doing something else for our money.
All right, we've made it to the manor. It's very mysterious, but here we're going to find Mael, person that we were trying to chase at the very beginning, and she becomes part of our party. So that's our third party member. I'm going to do a little cutscene transition to try to put on a skill, but it wouldn't give me my input. It was a little glitchy.
How did you find me?
But yeah, we're gonna put on all of the pictos that we had on Gustav onto Mael because she's gonna be our big damage hitter now, pretty much. Yeah, we're gonna be revolving everything around her doing. Her Pierce is pretty much like the big damage hitter.
Yeah, so like I said, every character has their own unique like mechanics to them along with their own unique skill set. Mael's mechanic is stances. She has a stance called Stanceless, which is a no stance, pretty self-explanatory. She also has offensive, which makes her do 50% more damage and take 50% more damage. She has defensive, which makes her take 50% less damage. I think generate AP an extra AP when she parries or something along those lines. We don't care about that one. And then she has Virtuose, which is a real OP one. That one makes you do 300% damage, so you do triple your damage in Virtuose stance. That is very strong. 3x damage is very good. Additionally, she has a move called Per Se, which does double damage if an enemy is marked. And it has a pretty good base as well. But a lot of the game plan from this point on will be getting her into Virtuose stance, applying Mark, and then hitting a really big Per Se with like as many buffs and debuffs as we can have applied. Here is like one of the few times where we actually don't go into Virtuose for it. Offensive is just good enough for Curator. Also, fun fact about this boss, it's the only boss in the run that scales up your current level. Yeah. So we actually want to make sure we're a little bit lower level for this guy, so he is weaker. If we took an extra Demonure fight, we'd be a level higher, and then he would be tankier. We'd have to change the fight a bit to be a little bit slower. Here's Noko. Here's the first merchant we encounter. You can use your money at merchants to buy stuff. And merchants oftentimes will have something that you have to fight them for to unlock, because the merchants are Jestrals, and Jestrals love fighting. So this fight did change a bit because of the patch. This is the same opening, offensive switch. This applies defenseless on them, which is 25% extra damage. And it puts us into offensive, which gives us 50% more damage. But before, this would just die up Per Se. Now a Per Se isn't enough damage, so we have to just shoot once and do a spark, and then we'll kill the burn damage. It's like 30 seconds slower. But yeah, at least it still works.
I am excited about this run because we get to detail kind of like those differences on current patch. Yeah, like it doesn't start out too heavy early on, but as we get through, especially once we get to Act 2, like a lot of things, like a lot of adjustments are needed pretty much everywhere. The main like fighting strats still stay intact, but yeah, it's interesting. Like sometimes we might have to use like an extra move or apply powerful an extra time to get that extra damage to kind of like, you know, because we have that like 10% to debuff just to make up for it.
Fun fact about the Brewer here, the guy in the middle, he is the only enemy type in the game where if you apply Mark on them, hitting their weak point actually does increase damage. Every other enemy in the game, if you hit the Mark and then you hit the weak point, it doesn't change. But Brewers, you do more damage if you hit the weak point. And another fun fact about that is that if you do it on the Brewer before you can break damage cap, it actually does break the damage cap if it would have done enough damage to do it. A very unique enemy in that regard. That's like my fun fact about those guys.
We did that fight, by the way, just to get like a weapon for Mael. It also helps with like XP and Chroma, but more importantly for the weapon for Mael. Yeah.
Yeah, that unlocked the weapon called Brewer. Go ahead.
Yeah, because this next fight against Goblu is really a step up right now. It's really hard to get ourselves suited up enough to deal enough damage for him. But yeah.
Yeah, for reference, on the better patches, you are very, very unlikely to get the fast fight here. You rely on basically 2 Mael per se, which puts you, she has like 48% crit rate, same as Gustav in Spring Meadows. So that's not good odds. It's a little bit under 25%. But you also, I mean, there's other ways it could get fixed. Like if he gets Mael target on a certain turn, you can add a lot of damage that way. But yeah, odds are bad. On this patch, I haven't seen a fast kill yet, is the best way I can put it. It's still theoretically possible, but it's not happening. And even like we have backup strats now. We have like a 5 turn that we can do that's like 40 seconds slower, but you know, it does more damage. Even that's not guaranteed to kill anymore, whereas before that was guaranteed. We have to just add as much damage as we can now.
Yeah,
it's a pretty rough fight.
If we wanted to have a really fast fight now, we need to rely probably like on 4 or 5 different crits. And again, like that's 50% to get all those crits with Mael if we get the targeting that we want with her too on some of the counterattacks. So it's like, yeah, if you add up all the percentages and chances, it just gets really low really fast.
Kind of sounds akin to how people describe, if either of you know much about Pokemon, there are certain like fights that are meant to be scripted, but there's technically a chance that they glitch out because a Pokemon spawns with just the right strength value and just the wrong, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, if you ever actually see that in the course of playing the game, you basically now have a schoolyard story that no one will ever believe you on.
Yeah, is this like something in the old Pokemon games, or is that like a new game mechanic?
It's largely common in the older games where some of the tutorial battles could somehow fail out in one way or the other. Like Wally is supposed to catch the tutorial Bidoof, but it can get knocked out if like 6 different things align at once, but then the game just proceeds forward as though he caught it anyway.
That's so interesting. I did not know that. So here's the main pattern. We're going back to the fight. The main pattern we'll be using now is we'll be applying Burn with Lune. We'll be using Powerful or Mark something with Gustav. Then Mael will do Swift Stride. It's a 3 AP move that when you hit a burning enemy, it'll put her into Virtuoso stance. Then Lune will attack. We picked up that picto from earlier from Noko called Exposing Attack. And that makes it so when she attacks an enemy, it applies Defenseless for 1 turn, which is 25% more damage. So we're going to do that. We're going to apply Mark with Gustav, and then we're going to do Per Se, which in Virtuoso Powerful with Defenseless, and with Mark does like 5,500 even on this patch, if with no crit. If we crit, it's like just under 9k. Or sorry, just under 8k on this patch, I think. But sadly we didn't get the crit, so we lost like 2,500 damage there, so there's no way to get the fast fight anymore. So we're going to do a bit of an alternate script where we're adding 1 more turn in between all of these to add Powerful and just squeeze out more damage while we can. But this adds like 30-40 seconds because Goblu's animations are really long with these flowers.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about breaking.
At least we get to listen to his jam and music a little bit longer.
True. I can't hear the music, I'm sad. But you might have noticed that under the health bar of the enemy there was this yellow bar. That is called the break bar. once you fill that up enough, if you do a move that can break an enemy, well, Gustav's Overcharge is one of those, it's the main one we use, it'll break the enemy, and what I will do is it'll make the enemy take 20% more damage while they're broken, and it'll be essentially immobilized for a turn or two, depends on the enemy, how many turns they stay broken for. Alright, let's go. Oh my god, we still don't kill. So, like, you might die to burn here, but we still have to wait a little bit for him to do the flower animations.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Rough fight. But that's just... When you get Ivor, my L crit, it's just... It is what it is.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about these early Act 1 bosses, like, there was already RNG in the previous patch, but now on current patch, it's just, like... There's not like much we can do because like any fight that we want to do to set up that gives us more time or like makes us more powerful, it just like adds several minutes to the run and it's just never worth it. Even in a marathon setting like this, it's even getting the bad luck on the bosses still saves more time than doing the extra fights. Yeah.
I hope we can trust him.
Yeah. Also, I'll be completely honest. When I routed this, it was kind of more of a band-aid onto the previous route. There probably is a more optimal way to do things now in the current patch. I don't know. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go down that routing hole too deeply again. But I think there's room for optimization. Sadly, I don't think early game is the place where we're going to find a lot of stuff because your options are still limited in the early game compared to later on where you have access to more things.
And hey, that's the nature of these things. You know, every speedrun is a communal effort. And to paraphrase the game, when one stops routing, the others pick up and carry on.
Oh no! I need that.
Yeah, well, you could do something called a flag jump. It's like where you jump as you like interact with the flag, and then you can get forward momentum. And you essentially just like make a little bit more progress. That's what Vito tried to do there, but didn't get it sadly.
Yes, nice.
I need to learn how to do that. I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, so you don't have to actually chase the baton over to where he's going. You can just, it's really, like, you have to really, like, press the melee button at the right time, pretty much, as he's zooming by, but, yeah, I'm gonna focus on making sure I don't mess this up.
So, Patonks are kind of like, loot enemies. They don't respawn, they're a one-off, and they give you a lot of really good stuff, but they have their own little quirk to them. This guy likes to shield himself, and they run away after a few turns, so you have to kill them quickly. Sadly, you don't have a guaranteed fast kill for this fight, but we have a backup. It depends on whether or not my L crits or not. Like everything else in the early game, really.
Yeah.
Nice, we got the crit, let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, if you can get the crit there, we would have done the Thunderfall with Lune and hoped it killed. I think it's guaranteed. I'm not sure because the crit does matter a bit, and I've always gotten at least one crit when I've tested. But if you don't get the crit, if you don't kill at that point, then it gets really slow and potentially can even get out because I think it gives itself like 6 more shields again, and you're very low on AP at that point.
But yeah, that guy, like, we didn't have him included at all in previous patch, so like literally doing the time to do him for him to give us the extra polish catalyst, like, it's worth the like 50 seconds time loss or whatever it is.
Yeah, pretty much because we lose that 10% damage from that energy too, and we lose another 10% from another pick that we get later. Our damage drops off quite a bit, so our Patank is kind of like our way of compensating for it. We just use the stuff he gets to upgrade our weapons more. Speaking of, we didn't really talk about that, but we'll do that after this fight. So, this is a pretty straightforward fight. The Gestrals make these saco patatas, or saco potatoes. They're kind of like the robots that they use to fight intruders. We're using our same old pattern here of buffing up a big per se and doing that. And then when they die, they crash down like this, and you have one more dodge parry to do, but nothing too difficult. So, after flying waters, the Curator joins us at camp, and the Curator can upgrade our weapons and our Lumina. For Lumina, you just pick up these things called Color of Lumina throughout the run, and you can use them on one character one at a time, and then they can equip one more Lumina. We haven't really talked about Lumina yet, but essentially when you have a pick to equip, once you've won 4 battles with it equipped, it unlocks as a Lumina, and now you can take off the Picto, equip it as a Lumina, and you're not forced into having that Picto, because you only have 3 Picto slots. But they do cost Lumina. You gain 1 Lumina point per level, so everyone here, level 7, you have 7 Lumina slots available. And that's why we needed level 7 for Gustav and Lune, at least originally in the previous patch, because we wanted critical burn and dead energy too, which is 7 points total. But the upgrading weapons is use certain catalysts to upgrade weapons, like the a little bit at a time, essentially by 1 level at a time. And to upgrade from levels above 3, from like level 3 to level 9, you need Polished Chroma Catalyst. And there's a very few available in the early game, but that baton gives us 5 of them, along with like 4,000 chroma, which is the currency in this game, and that is a very useful thing to have. It also makes our money route really free from this point on. We have to pick up less money than we would have to in previous patches. So, good targeting here. We do want to build some AP on Gustav, so it's nice that it gets us 2 parries. The jump counter attacks here, they don't do much damage. They also, funnily enough, ignore my L stance, so a virtuose like jump attack doesn't do any more than a normal jump attack. So Gustav's kind of optimal in that regard, since he is the only one that's like AP starved. Everybody else is pretty much scripted in terms of AP. We're just opening with some counters. Sadly, no my L crit there, but it's only 500 damage loss, no biggie. He is a big Gustav fan. Yeah. It's good when these attacks over Gustav because they don't do much damage. They build you AP and charge for the overcharge. But the bigger ones, you actually do want them on Lune or Mael because this guy is weak to fire. And that's actually why Lune is so important here. So right there, you notice he shot off his arm. But for him to shoot off his arm, he kind of has to recoil back. And he only recoils back if you hit him with a weakness, or if you shoot him, or if you crit. And Lune's weapon is fire, his weak to fire, so we used to have a route here that got a lightning weapon for her, that was better. And we actually switched back to fire weapon just for this fight so we can shoot off that arm. But that does a lot of damage, it makes it so he can't raise his shield. If he raises his shield, he takes a lot less damage, you have to break it before he can start doing damage again. That adds a lot of time.
A little bit under on my overall damage on him.
Yeah, we're going to be reliant on a Mael per se crit, most likely, if we want to get a fast kill. Even then, it might not kill, to be honest, because for the patch, we are really low on it. But if we don't kill, it's just a matter of pairing some extra moves and adding some more damage later. You just lose some time. That's the beauty of this game. If you get unlucky with like early game and stuff, it sucks because you lose time, but you won't like you won't fail the fight. You just keep going on. So we can get lucky with the per se crit there, so we do need to add some more parry damage.
I didn't want a Lune counterattack. If Mael had that, she probably would have finished that.
Maybe. Mael doesn't do that much more when she's in defensive. It's like 400 maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but here we're gonna do one more per se. This isn't a virtuose one. All our buffs are gone, but it's enough to finish the fight. It was like the slowest version of the fight possible, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunate. That's okay. We're past the terrible 3 bosses.
I was kind of hoping you'd do the Rain of Fire version.
Oh yeah, I totally got the skill and I forgot. I was just using muscle memory and just like repetition, just doing the old stuff.
So Rain of Fire is a very powerful fire skill. We're not used to it because in all the patches before this, you wouldn't fight that Batonk. And that Batonk is what actually gives you like another level just in time to learn the skill, because you get a skill point in this game per level, and you need a certain amount of skill points to unlock the skill, pretty much. So we just aren't high enough level in the old patch, but in this patch, since we fight the Batonk, as long as we didn't miss any EXP by getting hit anywhere, we can't afford Rain of Fire.
I guess intelligence is not a
As mentioned earlier, the guy is weak to fire, so it does a lot of damage. So anyway, in terms of plot, after talking to Noko, we realized we have to get across the ocean to get to the Paintress, and we want somebody called Eskia to help us with that. But Eskia's nest is blocked by a Gestrel, so we need to ask Golgra here for permission to pass that Gestrel, because Eskia is too strong for normal people to just hang out with him. He can kill us. So she's like, to test our strength, we have to enter a tournament here, pretty much. So we're going to have a tournament here against 3 Gestrels and a surprise visitor. The first 3 fights, there's no consequence to failing. You can just retry them. But the last fight, you're actually allowed to lose. And depending on who wins that fight, you get a certain weapon. And Mael's weapon is really OP, and we really need it for the run. So that fight is a must-win. And the annoying thing about it is that the game auto-saves right after you lose it. So if we lose that fight by making a backup save in a specific way, we'll have to backtrack a lot.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't screw that up.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just one of those things that's a little bit scarier under pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
But here we have a different fight pattern. Since these are all solo fights, we can't do our normal pattern of like virtuos per se shenanigans. So instead, we're using a move we haven't used before called Degagement, which puts you into an offensive stance and it makes the enemies weak to fire. Now the Brewer we got earlier in Flying Waters, it happens to be a fire weapon. So now our counters hit weakness, which is 50% more damage. And then our Rain of Fire we do on the next turn also hits weakness out, because these guys are normally neutral to fire. So it's a really cool strat there. And while Mael is beating up all of these Judge I will once again like to say, fuck ice.
Yeah, fuck ice.
While Miles hard at work here, do we have the opportunity to thank some people who have donated to help save Fuck Ice?
Yes, it's a fantastic typo.
Yep.
Excellent. We have $500 from Joshua Kant to support ICEBreaker with the comment, "Hey T-Tree, give me your best Fuck Ice." I was kind of going for like Halo announcer. I don't know if that does Fuck Ice. Something like that. And Token Oracle with $5. I've tried to say what I want to say about ice, but I'm not very good at writing it. So the usual fuck ice from me. We also have anonymous donations in the amounts of $25, $100, $30 with the comment Midwestern Solidarity, and $250. Thank you so much to all of you. I hope you're taking the time when you donate to use the add incentive button about 2/3 of the way down the screen to add to our bid war, to the ongoing bid war for this game, the Verso and Mael ending bid war, and the choice on whether to save the goat or save the frames. Yes, I know it's hug the goat, but I think you do a lot more than just hug the goat in Undertale on a symbolic level. So I'm calling it save the goat versus save the frames.
Thank you everyone that donated. Much appreciated.
Oh
no!
The thing happened where, the thing happened where I was under pressure and I messed up.
Oh, so, well, you're on PS5. Can you just like quit out?
Yes, I'm closing the game. Yeah, so if that went forward and we we would have to load back 4 minutes, but because I never updated my autosave by closing the game, I'll be able to start right before CL. We just have to go through 30 seconds of startup on PS5. So, but yeah.
Yo, PS5 strats though.
Yeah.
You can Alt F4 on PC too. And technically not allowed, but fair. You know, like any competitive run, if you die here, you don't really care about the run anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's great for marathons. Yes. But yeah, the autosave system in this game is both a blessing and sometimes a pain in the ass. Yeah. It can be pretty rough. Especially, it doesn't always save when you want to. It sometimes overwrites saves that you wanted to keep, as if this is a great example of it, where we died to CL. But yeah, there's a quick little PS5 Alt F4 we can just rematch her again, try again. Also, I noticed you. Well, I'll ask you later. I'll let you
okay. Oh, here it is. There we go.
There
Got
we
it
go.
this time.
Funnily enough, this happened to be a GDQ. I failed to fight the first time, but we did as like a special backup save to like make it so we weren't screwed over. And then the second time, I was about to fail it again. I got hit by the first hit, and I just like panicked. I started dodging. Because like to get the counter, you need to parry all the moves. So as soon as you get hit once, there's not much point in parrying anymore unless you build AP. I need to build AP. I'm just like, there's no way I'm dying to this twice on stage. I'm just dodging. I was gonna ask you for that first gestural fight. I saw that you underkilled. Do you have 26 might or 23 might on my?
I have 26 might.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that doesn't work then.
Okay, yeah, that happened to me yesterday, or was that yesterday? It happened to me one other time, and I was like, should that work? Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, but
yeah, I tried to test it, but like you know how crits are. It's I couldn't get a fight where I got 0 crits, so I haven't been able to test it.
Yeah.
So maybe one more flag then for free might, or you just go with, or maybe Brewer M4 gains value. I don't know.
Yeah,
you have options to try to gain fix things. So one of the new decisions we have to make in like the new patch is which weapon do we upgrade from IL. We are choosing to upgrade the Medallum, but something we can do is upgrade the Brewer once we finish Flying Waters, and then we'll have a level 4 weapon instead of a level 3 weapon for like 6 fights, and that would have a lot of value. Like you would definitely clear everything there for sure. You can get faster stack up attack fights, etc., etc. But then if you don't get any polished catalyst drops, you won't be able to upgrade the medallion to 6, and that also has an impact. So you kind of just have to decide which one you go with. And I went with the medallion, but I think the brewer is worth exploring as well.
Upgrade our cryptos.
Yeah.
So medallion is like probably the best weapon we get in this whole run. It is a very good weapon. What it does is it lets Mael start in Virtuos stance. So normally we have to do a move to put her in there, but now she just starts in Virtuos right away as long as we have that equipped. It also had 2 secret 10% damage boost tied to its level 10, level 20 abilities, and those were both removed on this patch, so it got nerfed really hard. Luckily, it only matters for 1 fight in the run, but we have to take like an extra minute and a half detour or something just to fix that fight because of the big damage reduction we experienced there.
All right, we're on our way to SKA's cave though. And this is where Best Boy is. Yeah, everyone's fan favorite SKA is here. We're gonna finally meet him, but not without doing some important stats first.
I'm Kippy. I will be part of chat here. I think my favorite song is Clair.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Oh no, do you guys have a favorite song that comes to mind?
I don't know what my favorite one is, honestly. I always go between a lot of different stuff.
It's hard for me to say
like,
too.
Clay is definitely up there, that's for sure.
There is one that plays in Visages. I think what the mask fights. I do not know the name of it because it's very French, but I really like that one as well. Oh, this round you probably don't want to re-equip the Lance Ram because you never get it to 6. Sacram's better.
Oh, you're right.
Or Delaram. I'm not sure which is better between Sacram and Delaram.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them is a good answer,
has
too.
like I was noticing on Landmaster that it does have like resistances, so.
Yeah, that's why I don't know which one is better in terms of damage. I haven't tested it. Delaram has more base, but it's resistance. If we actually use good stuff for damage, like Overcharge, it would make Delaram better, but we don't.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I gotta do one more thing before this next fight. I gotta make sure I change over Mael's weapon for Francois. Because yeah, it has that benefit of starting in Virtuous Stance. Very, very helpful.
All right, we've got a couple of answers in from the chat about favorite songs. I apologize in advance because I'm a Spanish speaker as far as other languages, but I'll do my best. You got Au lendemain non écrit, Vie Piendre, and of course, Megabot number 33.
Questions I have.
Or a suggestion for best songs.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
playing
like
one more in here too.
Unve, Pandre, or Timir, one of those two are usually like at the top of most people's, I would say.
Yeah, I think they're like the fan favorites. Funnily enough, I like those songs, but they are nowhere near the top for me. And I am like a big rock person, so I'm surprised at myself for that. I feel like I should love him more than I do. And I still very much enjoy him, but there's other songs I like much more.
So we got second best boy here, Francois.
So yeah,
little
this is another
grumpy,
fight.
Just a little guy.
Just a little grumpy guy.
Okay,
All the
take it.
Luckily, we dodged that strongest ice attack there, or he would have just wiped us. That strongest,
Sorry.
that strongest ice attack does like 3,000 damage or something on expert. We are not tanking that.
No.
It's lore accurate.
Swa and SKA are very different from Gestrels and Nevrons.
You know, I now feel bad about saying this, but fuck ice. Francois got that cool attack though, so he gets a pass. But yeah.
Yeah, no,
ice.
chat was actually making that distinction earlier about how ice is good for cooling drinks and could potentially serve other purposes, but ice has no purpose.
Exactly.
And be abolished.
I'm very slow on my cutscene transition menuing. I still don't even have Dodger on CL. It's okay though. It's only like minimal time lost things,
Yeah.
but
Cool thing is, as long as you're not doing a cutscene transition menu before a boss fight, you can just always do it later, and you just lose a little bit of time from not getting it in as seamlessly. But you don't have to know these to do the run. You can just take your time with it. And that's the cool thing about the patch that Beta is running right now. If anybody wants to try out this run, you can just follow this. You don't have to mess with down patching, getting a PC. Like, this will just work on current patch, no problem.
Yep.
So if you're a console player, you're good. You can do this. It is sadly slower, but it works.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not like a lot slower though. They'll still work tremendously for you.
Yeah. It's like 5 to 10 minutes slower, but I guess I don't know, because like in terms of the route, it should be like maybe 5 minutes slower, but I feel like the patch itself is just slower. Like dialogue doesn't pop out as quickly, sort of deal. But you could do it as like something, hey, I enjoy this or I don't enjoy this. If you enjoy it, you can maybe try, like if you're on PC, down patching and trying one of the other ones or whatnot. You don't have to commit to this. You can still just see if you like it.
So we're gonna pass a fight that we would normally do. Like a lot of people that have seen runs will usually see us go and do this fight, but we're just gonna run past it because in this next place, like we're not doing that fight. We normally use that fight to kind of like set up Lune for this next fight, and then also to get Gustav a good weapon that's gonna help us later. But instead, we're gonna just go get a different weapon instead in Stonewave and use a different fight to set up Lune, because it's a little bit more beneficial now on this patch, because the other weapon will give us a little bit more better damage output.
So yeah, we've been neglecting Best Girl Lune for a while now, but that ends now. It is time for me to explain the power of Lune. So Lune has something called a stain system, where she has 4 slots for stains, and every time you do a skill, it can like generate or consume stains. Generally speaking, it's both. And if you have the right stains for a move, they're like element based. There's fire, water, fire, ice, lightning, earth, and light, which is like a wild card. There's also dark, but dark is like not relevant for the category we're doing today. And anyway, certain moves get certain buffs, like if you have the right stains for that move. Lune has a move called Lightning Dance. Lightning Dance, it seems pretty unassuming. It costs 7 AP, it's 6 hits of damage. But it has 2 very important aspects to it. One is if you crit, it does an extra hit. So first of all, your original hit does 50% more damage because it crits, and then the extra hit, if it crits, also does like 50% more damage plus the base 100. So if you can guarantee crits, every hit of Lightning Dance is like 300% more damage. On top of that, it's multi-hit, and we haven't really mentioned too much because you don't see the damage cap as much on this patch, but we are damage capped at 9999. So even if your attack would have done like 50,000 damage, you're never going to see it because it's one hit, it'll do 9999. Lightning Dance with all crits is 12 hits. So it lets you get around the damage cap very nicely. And then the last thing is the stains. If Lune has all the stains required for a big Lightning Dance, it gives it like a 6x damage multiplier, which ends up being a lot of damage. So Mael is now outdated. She technically has 1 more fight left, but it is Lune's time to shine now. We'll be playing for Lune more than anything else.
Yep.
So right here we're making a minor detour to pick up a Picto. This is the Picto called First Strike. You might have noticed every boss fight we've done so far, the boss has moved before us, because we can't preempt bosses since they have that cutscene before we enter them. First Strike is a Picto that lets you move first. So no longer do we have to let all the bosses move anymore. But this is where the big route change, well, not big route change, one of the route changes comes in between current patch and old patch. Later on, we're going to have to fight Monoko. And because of the damage nerfs, we no longer have the damage to beat Monoko with our old setup. So at that point, we wouldn't have First Strike learned yet, so we were limited to it on one character, Lune, and we didn't have a good way to fix it. Our solution for this is to wait until we get the First Strike to do Picto, to do a fight with it. We're just fighting this brochure. This guy has nothing of value associated with him. He's just a solo enemy, he gives a tiny bit of EXP, tiny bit of money. But the important thing is, he lets Lune set up her HP, which we will be doing by failing this wildfire, so she hits herself instead. That kills her, which is bad. But the cool thing is, after a battle, she gets revived with 1 HP. So now she's at 1 HP, which is less than 30%. And earlier in Industrial Village, we picked up a Picto called Critical Moment, which makes it so if you're under 30% HP, you get 50% more crit rate. So you can see how this all comes together with what I said about Lightning Dance. If we can guarantee our crits, we can get really big Lightning Dance damage. We have Critical Moment for 50%. We have Critical Burn, so as long as the enemy's burning, we do 25% more. And then we can get some crit rate naturally with the Pictos we equip that give crit rate. And that gets her to over 100% crit rate, which lets you do big Lightning Dance damage.
Yeah, this is going to be like the first instance where, well, actually, I shouldn't have started a conversation during a menu. But
No, definitely take your time.
okay, but yeah, like this is where you start to see the potential of how creative you can be with your builds. Like Lightning Dance and like using 100% crit rate on Luna, it's so incredible what this game allows you to do. And like there's so many different videos, even like for like builds that aren't even like speedrun viable in like Act 1 and Act 2. That's just like so incredible that this game allows you to do that. It's such a joy that it's just so creative that way. Yeah. But yeah, you'll see the full power of it soon. We're almost there.
Also, I train to fight a bit, not gonna lie. But yeah, the reason we take that fight the Rocher and the reason we get the Delram, we used to take that other fight in the world map, like B-Dud said, to get a Lancer level 6, which is great for the one fight we need a very good Gustav weapon. But the problem is, at that point, we don't have the first strike picked out yet, and we want to have one more fight with first strike available to us so we can have one more battle invested into learning it. So that way we learn it in time for Minoko, and we can fix that fight.
This boss is also like a really big step up from where we are with all the other bosses. The other bosses are kind of like introduce you and kind of like to like different like little mechanics and getting you ready. This is like the first big hurdle where they just like let loose and test your abilities at this point. So the parries can even be a little bit harder than anything that we've encountered so far. So I'll definitely be focusing in and locking in on this fight.
Meanwhile, I'll give you guys a quick intro on a new character, CL, which we'll be using for the first time here. She joined us after the tournament in Industrial Village. Right now, she'll have more of a utility role. Later on, we'll be using her in other ways. But the really important thing to know for this fight is she has a move called Intervention. It's a move that costs 5 AP, and what it does is you target a character other than her, it gives that character 4 AP, and it gives them their turn again instantly. So this lets us, since we have to set up stains for Lune, and that takes moves, like at this point it takes at least 2 moves to set up the stains for Lightning Dance. This essentially lets us cycle through the fight faster. Also, I'll nice, okay.
Thank you.
I just want to be quiet for a moment there because that move's a bit tricky.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So yeah, this is that master. Some of his moves are pretty easy, some of them are very difficult. That's like the only really hard one in my opinion in phase 1. And it's also the slowest move he has, so a little bit unfortunate, but on the bright side, one for Lune, so at least she got to generate AP, which if B-Dud wants to, he can go and skip some optional stuff. I don't know if he's comfortable with it. Alright, we're still doing Intervention. This might end up being a bad. You're gonna need to get some CL AP here.
Oh, right. Oh, shoot. Yeah. I miscalculated that. Hopefully the lights here will help.
Yeah. But yeah, since this new patch, we don't have as much damage naturally, so we do need to add quite a few counters. Okay, she's good now. So yeah, CL just needs to make sure she has AP for 2 interventions in this fight. Normally what you do is if you don't see enough AP generated on the first turn, you tint her with Gustav. And that's actually one of the reasons we picked up an AP tint at the very start of the run in Spring Meadows, because you only start with 1. And this fight can sometimes require 2, along with the next big boss fight later on.
Wasn't that beautiful? That lightning dance?
Yeah.
All those yellow numbers coming up. It's also
casual, like 34,000. And that's not even the biggest lightning dance we do in this fight.
Okay, nice. Good. That is such a hard move.
That is like top 5 hardest moves to dodge/parry in the run. Attacks with Charm. B-Dud literally got all the hardest Slap Master moves in this run. So good work. Good work not getting killed.
Yeah, it's okay. We're
good work not getting killed. Now we're good.
Okay. Let's apply defenseless.
Yeah. So the first phase, we only had powerful on Lune, so our damage was a bit lower. In this phase, we have the turn economy to also attack with Gustav with exposing attack on him now. So he applies defenseless. And now this Lightning Dance will do much more than the first one. 25% more damage to be precise. And you pretty much just one-shot him with no parry damage required. And this is Expert, by the way. This is the tankier versions. And we are very underleveled at this point.
Yeah. Did we even explain exactly that it's like almost double damage or double the health?
I mentioned it briefly. It was like 80%-ish, but it depends on what fight.
Yeah, and
Also-
like because of that different. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say no. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was gonna say just because it has that, like that's the biggest aspect of what makes this routing for experts so much different. Like it's not just because of the harder parries and like we don't take safety strats if it was that. Like the biggest aspect is, you know, like the trying to make builds that take down so much more health than what the other categories or other categories on the lower difficulties would do. So it does require a bit more of intricate. I mean, all the categories require intricate thinking, but for the builds, but we definitely like need to utilize like everything we can at any given moment, pretty much, to get through these fights swiftly.
Funnily enough, in expert, some of our fights are actually faster than like story fights.
Yeah.
But the difference is in setup time. We have to spend a lot more time like setting up, say, Luna HP or grabbing some Picto. That's a detour that story would not have to go out of their way to get. There's a Picto later on called Convent Fighter. That's like almost a 2-minute detour, for example, that story never gets. So that's where the time difference comes in. They're actually not that far apart in time. Like story glitches and expert glitches, they're about like 10 minutes apart. So not too bad. But here we got a new character joining us, Verso. Meanwhile, Gustav went to the grocery store to get some milk for the party. So Verso has some new systems involved with him. He kind of takes over Gustav's slot. He keeps his like weapons, and he has some similar attacks. But he has a new mechanic. Instead of charging, he has something called Perfection. And this might be familiar to people that have played like Devil May Cry or something like that, where you start off with D rank, and by like doing moves and parrying and dodges, you can build up your rank all the way up to C rank, or sorry, excuse me, S rank. And each rank gives you a damage multiplier. C rank is 25% more, B is 50% more, A is 100% more, and then S is 200% more damage. The moves also get certain like bonus effects sometimes depending on what rank you're on. And we will be taking advantage of that later on. It's not so much, it's like the rank, the damage increase is all honestly nice, but we're not aiming for a specific rank certain. A lot of the time it's more just like get as high rank as possible sort of deal. So we're setting him up here now. Funnily enough, he's going to show off a new game mechanic here called Gradients and Gradient Counters. So this is a bit of a tutorial fight. We're going to open the... Yeah. We're going to open up the fight.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go. We're gonna open with Defiant Strike to apply Mark, and then we're gonna counter with Verso to hopefully kill him off. So yeah, you can check this out real quick here. Oh!
Oh my god.
Never mind. Maybe we can back it up with a first day. Alright, nice.
That works.
Okay, we're good. We'll just have to fix the EXP later.
Tricks we should know.
I was gonna say you put the qualifying hopefully in there. It's fine.
No, we're just messing around. That is a completely scripted death.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
yeah, go ahead. You'll explain Berserk Slash. Go ahead.
So yeah, you notice how like Lune earlier we wanted to get her to 1 HP. We're doing the same thing for Verso there. So we want critical moment. After that match, we got a new Picto called At Death's Door, which gives you 50% more damage if you're under 10%. So we want to take advantage of that. And then Verso also has a move called Berserk Slash, which does more HP the lower HP he is. So we're just gonna stack all of those together for the next boss coming up.
Yep.
If you have any more messages or donations, now's a decent time. We're just gonna be doing some running.
I absolutely do. Now that we've hit right about the 1 hour mark into this run, just under halfway, but halfway to our ending bid war goal closing, we do need to decide which ending we will be aiming towards for the last portion of the run. I want to propose at 1 hour and 33 minutes a $33 donation train to get us to 33K during Expedition 33.
Yeah.
So if you are ready for that, you can put it towards your ending of choice. You can put it towards what we'll do at the end of Undertale as well. And I'd like to thank a lot of other people who have helped donate to get us to this $32,527 that we're at right now, including Jwind with $33, already getting us started on that $33 train. Bidud Mon Ami, let's bring the Paintress and Ice down.
Mon Ami, Jwin.
Thank you, Jay.
Beeble Bro, who sent in $25 to help the Minnesota Immigrant Rapid Response Fund. My wife is an immigrant. We live in fear over what is happening in this country. The only thing keeping us going is knowing that the righteous are standing up and doing all they can to resist the rise of fascism and domestic terror conducted by ICE in this country. My love to you and everyone involved in this event. And $25 from MNash331, who simply says, hope this helps the cause. And I assure you that it does. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And good luck out there. So real quick, we went to Merchant there, bought a new picto called Inverted Affinity. It gives us 50% more damage while we're or increased damage while we're inverted, and it starts us off inverted for 3 turns, so we fill out Inverso. It's also one of the changes from this patch. Inverted just became like 2,500 more expensive for like no known reason, really.
Yeah.
So luckily that tank that we killed earlier in Ancient Sanctuary just covers the money, so we're fine. But yeah, this Duisa, this is a really cool fight. He is one of the most fun bosses to like parry / dodge because his attacks are very like very visually accurate and very it's not the right word, like projected. Like you can tell what he wants to do, so it's not about learning the patterns. You can go into his first try and have a pretty good idea on how to do the fight. But he's also two-phase fight, and Lune doesn't work as well for this one because she can't just nuke him in one lightning dance, so like she could lamp because he has like doubled HP. So instead we're going for a lot of berserk slashes, and that's why we set up Verso for this fight. Lune in this fight, her job is basically just to tint Verso so he has AP for berserk slashes. But there was 2 versions to this fight you can do. You can go for a fast fight where you finish phase 1 after his first move with like an intervention right away. But on this patch, since our damage is reduced so much, it's not worth the risk. I'm not even sure if it's possible for it to work anymore, to be honest. That version relied on getting Verso target in phase 2, so you could do enough damage to finish the fight with like parries and counters. Or jump attacks in the counter, but we don't want to rely on that, so we are just doing the slower version where we let him get 2 more moves in phase 1 so he doesn't do 2 more moves in phase 2 because his phase 2 moves are very long compared to his phase 1 moves. And this Berserk set should hopefully finish.
Yeah,
nice.
Nice.
Let's go. I'm a little bit more scared about this now on the new patch because of the damage reduction. And this fight right here is the main fight we got the Dalaran for.
I gotta do my thing. Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
This fight cinematic right here it's so good. It's one of the best. Honestly, like I've seen this cinematic like probably like 300 plus times at this point already. Still don't get sick of it. It's still so awesome.
Yeah, this game has doesn't have a lot of cinematics like that, but the ones it does have are really cool. The patch we're playing on is actually after a thank you update, and that added a lot of really cool new ones too.
Yeah, they honed in on it.
There's one particular where Lune really shines that I absolutely love. I don't want to spoil it, but for people that haven't done it yet, it's so
really
cool.
Shines.
But yeah, reward for that fight, we got a new weapon for Verso called Duiso, yeah. And we got a new picto called Combo Attack. Combo Attack just makes it so when you attack, you do 1 more hit, which means you build 1 more AP. And like a little bit more rank. And Duiso is a pretty cool weapon. It's kind of weak in terms of stats, but what it does is when you attack, you can move again. So instead of having 1 turn in a row, you get 2 turns in a row as long as you're doing an attack. And we will be taking advantage of that a lot because we also got that picto earlier exposing attack, which applies defenseless when you attack an enemy. So that combined with Verso means that he can essentially apply defenseless for free every turn. And not always have it on because sometimes they'll get 2 turns in a row, but we'll get to apply it most of the time. It'll be very useful. A little cutscene menu here to set up Lune Combo Attack. We don't actually care about Combo Attack being on Lune, but it'll make the menuing after this faster.
Yep.
So yeah, that's Forgotten Battlefield done. We're making more progress, and this will be where we do our last bit of upgrading our weapons for a while. Luckily, we have no shortage of polished Chroma Catalysts, which is what we need to upgrade to 9 at this point, since we fought that tank earlier, so don't have to worry about drops or anything like that, which is good. We're going to max out our Lighter, which is Lune's weapon, up to level 9. To get to 10, you need a Resplendent Chroma Catalyst, and while it's technically available, it's not very accessible. It's hidden behind like a boss fight you'd have to do at this point.
Okay. I guess I can upgrade it to 7, but whatever.
Yeah,
6
it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess technically like a bit of extra damage of massages or something, but yeah, it's not relevant. Before we didn't have to upgrade her weapon at all there at this point in the run, but because of the damage reduction, she actually does need 1 weapon upgrade to clear the random enemy she's going to be clearing in about like 30 seconds. Because she's doing 10% less because that energy 2 no longer gives 10% more damage. So the weapon upgrade kind of just patches that up. But once again, the game has thrown us back into our camp, which means we're back at full HP again, which means we have to set up our HP again. So we're just going to do another optional fight on the continent here. Once again, there will be a Diminure there, my goat. And we're going to use this fight for setup. It gives us some new weapons and stuff, and it gives us more towards learning our Pictos, which actually is important. We need to learn First Strike before the next boss fight. This will be the fight to do it. But yeah, we're going to shoot that mine. This will do a lot of damage, take out the Demonure, and then we're going to do a Defiant Strike on this guy, and that clears. And then CL can just clear this last guy with a Phantom Blade. This doesn't do that much damage, but we have put that extra weapon level into her. We have a lot of might on her. And she has a Picto called Augmented First Strike, which we put on only for speed. But it does help make the difference in that fight. It makes her first hit of a fight do 50% increased damage. So... yeah, banger alert incoming.
Yeah. Really good song coming up.
Train.
So we got a boss fight with Minoko. He's going to become our 5th character. And it's a pretty tanky boy. He has something like
Had trains running throughout.
100k HP? I actually don't remember off the top of my head. But this is going to be another fight where we're going to lightning dance. Except this time we've got Lune very well set up. We have a level 9 weapon. We've got a lot going for us. At this point, we have Death's Door. We have Inverted Affinity for more damage. So we're essentially going to move all that good damage stuff to Lune. We're going to give CL First Strike. That's kind of like the band-aid we made for this fight in this version of the route because of the damage reduction we have to deal with. And we're going to just go more or less one-shot him. He will get one move off, but hopefully he'll do a fast one. He has like 2 fast and 1 slow moves. So hopefully we see the fast one.
I accidentally took Dead Energy 2 off. I'll have to put that on before the Chevaliers in the next split.
Yeah, that's fine. He doesn't need it for this fight.
Yep.
I've also been tempted to just take it off earlier and then put it on later. I don't know. No crit from the immolation there, but won't matter for damage. But yeah, First Strike on CL literally is just so she can tint Lune there. Only reason it's there. And we got the slow attack, of course.
Of course. Okay.
That on its own adds like 7 seconds to the fight.
Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. That's the only thing it really affects. So yeah, because we used to have Verso do the tint on Lune that CL did, but because we need extra damage, we now have to powerful him, which is why we had to take the time to learn First Strike on CL. So we can have her throw the tint, which opens up Verso's turn. And yeah, lightning dance damage.
We love it.
That's like probably about 118k or so. Just a casual 118k from Best Girl Lune.
Yeah.
So we don't have Minoko yet, not that it matters. We have one more forced fight as we're running out of Minoko Station here with a Stellact. Fun fact about this fight is that's the only fight in the run where we don't have guaranteed crit rate on Lightning Dance, but it's still over 75%, and we don't have to clear nearly as much HP here. This is also our intro for gradient attacks, which is something that we haven't had access to until right now. You can see at the bottom of our screen we have that gradient charges bar now. And because it's the tutorial, we automatically start with 1, but normally starts with 0. There it is. We're gonna ice fence here just for the stains. It actually heals them, funnily enough, but we just want the stains on for Lune. We want an ice and a light. And Lune's gradient will automatically build us another light stain. So that ice of 2 light is enough to power up our lightning dance, and we're gonna use that to clear this fight. But the way that gradient works is pretty much every time you use 1 AP, it'll add 5% to the gradient bar. So 20 AP equals 1 gradient charge. It's not going to be too relevant early on, but it will be relevant for later fights in the run. It's a point where sometimes we'll have a character do an action more or less just to fill the gradient bar when it could have done something faster instead.
I stopped the scene there if you were watching at the right moment where everyone was T-posing.
I missed it.
Yeah.
No, we got our... Oh, Minoko leader, it is still in the game. Yeah.
Good.
Dan, this is like the one thing they didn't fix. So after Act 1, Lune kind of becomes the leader of the party, and what I mean by that is when you pause the menu, like the cursor will start off on her. So if you press X, you'll be on Lune. You just like pick those and whatnot. But there's this bug where if you never reload a save or like quit the game after you get Verso, when you get Minoko, he will become the party leader, and it throws off all your menuing for the run because you're used to Lune leader. Well, I guess honestly, we're probably more used to Minoko leader.
At this point, I want Minoko leader because I'm more used to him by this point. But yeah. It's annoying when you get the one that you don't want.
Yeah, I thought I was really hoping they fixed up this patch. I messed up all my runs enough that I didn't know yet. I've always had to reload a save on this patch, so it's a shame that that's not better yet. I'm hoping they do fix it one day.
Yeah.
It doesn't change like core gameplay in any way, but it's just tedious.
Okay.
Flag.
Anyone still?
Thank you.
I forget this one all the time now too.
So
Yeah. There
we gotta
was
use
a change they added at some point with a patch where it made it so when characters were talking, you couldn't interact with a flag. And there's dialogue going on here. So we actually had to move this flag. It was originally in Old Lumiere, but because of that change, we had to move it to Minoko Station and do it a bit differently. And now they fixed it. So now we can do like the flag here again. So we have to get used to doing the flag here again in Old Lumiere instead of doing it in Minoko Station. So they're really messing with our muscle memory with these patches.
Definitely not used to all this new menuing.
Yeah, it definitely is a little awkward. Another change here is that because we use Powerful now for Minoko, we actually have to learn it early, so we had to delay learning Perfect Recovery till here, which we used to learn earlier. It never gets used before, like, before the point where you learn all the skills anyway, but it was kind of more convenient to just learn it earlier. But we did unlock some new skills. Lune got one called Elemental Trick. Elemental Trick is 4 hits, one of each element, and if you crit one of those hits, it gives you a stain of that element. So it's a good way to get our stains for Lightning Dance, pretty much. But we do have to have guaranteed crits for it. And then the ones we got for Verso, Perfect Recovery just lets you heal 50%, 100% if you're C rank. And that sounds not very useful, but it does have one very niche use to it. That we'll cover when we get there. And Leadership. Leadership is kind of like a low-key goated ability. What Leadership does is it reduces your rank by 1, and it gives every character 4 AP, besides himself, at the cost of 3 AP. And if it's C rank, it's 5 AP. So it's just a very good way to feed your party AP. And we're basically just feeding Lune AP, so that's really good for us. But on top of that, CL has to feed Lune AP. But CL also consumes AP to feed Lune AP. So it's good that in that it covers both their AP requirements.
The world was smaller and
Decent time for a donation now, or messages, if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have people helping get the $33 donation train that will be taken off at 1 hour 33 started early. Debonair VT sent in $33 to the Women's Foundation of Minnesota Immigrant Rapid Response Fund with the comment, choo choo. That is specifically open parentheses in French, close parentheses. So I hope that was sufficiently French. We also have Malmo sending in $25 with no comment, and Amidaska making a $100 donation to the Rapid Response Fund, also with no comment. Thank you so very much to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alright, a little bit of plot. So, we had Minoko kind of like break the path open so we can continue through Old Lumiere. So we get this Old Lumiere. There was something called a fracture at some point, 100 years ago, well, 67 years ago from where we are now, which split the Lumiere into 2. This is the other half of it. But our party gets split up here. This is the part of the RPG where the party gets split. The Lune part, we don't actually have to do anything. There's no fights we have to take. But here, Mayel and Verso do have to clear this fight. So what we're going to hope for here is that Rain of Fire doesn't crit. Nice. And now what that let us do is shoot this guy in the head 3 times. That is sad. The headshots are required to kill him. That puts us into C rank. And now since our HP is low and we're C rank, that Berserk Slash just does a ton of damage and we just clear that quickly.
Yeah,
if we do crit, if we do crit the Chillier, then we have to attack instead, which is a bit slower, because we won't have the rank required to do like a C rank Berserk Slash. The reason that matters is because when we kill the other guy, the one that Mayel hit with Verso, we proc that energy too, which gives us 3 AP back. So we can afford to shoot the 3 times to get to C rank and then do Berserk Slash. Whereas if he died, we can't get our free AP back, so we can't get the AP to do Berserk Slash. There's a picto on the left there called Auto Rush. It lets you start the battle with Rush, which is 30% more speed for 3 turns. We used to get that. We don't anymore because we replaced it with another speed picto since we needed it for damage anyway. It's a notoriously annoying picto to grab because there's 3 enemies guarding it, so you have to be very quick and precise about it or you get into a battle. And right now, Verso kind of ditched this, so it's Mayel solo. And for a fleet to go through, you need at least 2 fleets to go off. It has to be every character in the party, and it has to be at least 2. Since Mayel is solo, she can't flee quickly, so if we get into that fight, we just reload our save and have to, like, kind of run back from where we were before. So,
just making a quick save. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There was no actual change there. That's just to make an auto-save in case the fight goes bad.
Yep.
So this is Run War 1. This is our first battle with him for realsies. This is also one of my favorite strats in the whole run, because this fight resets all your character's HP, so Lune's not set up on low HP anymore. So we have to do it ourselves live mid-fight. We're going to use Wildfire for that. But the thing is, Wildfire can crit you, even when you're hitting yourself. So we gotta get it just right to a point where we can set up our HP for it to work even regardless of whether or not we crit. And the way we do that is we make the non-crit do at least 60% damage of our own health bar, and less than 66% damage, because crit's a 50% modifier, so if we have 67 or more, we do 100%, and we kill ourselves. But then if we don't crit ourselves, we still have like 30% more to go. And what we can do is we can use a healing tint, which heals for 30%. But we have a status called inverted on her right now, which makes it so when you heal her, she takes damage instead. And that puts us under that 10% threshold. So besides that, it's all just about setting up stains, giving Lune the AP that she needs. Your party is logged into these 3 here in this order, so it's always the same. And then you just do another really big lightning dance. Nice. Queen fight. Very cool setup. It doesn't look like much when you see it live. It's oh yeah, she's just dancing on Renoir's face again, but
yeah, it is really cool. Like just literally that aspect of okay, I can just leave. Just that aspect of using that Picto's ability of inverted. Like normally it's supposed to be a punishment if you accidentally forget that you have inverted on and you like try to heal yourself and then you end up killing yourself with the healing item instead. It's so cool using what's supposed to be treated as a punishment as a benefit to us.
Yeah, you might even notice we like to kill ourselves with our characters, so inverted is very handy for that. It's a very nice use of it. It's not just for the damage increase. The damage increase is also very important, and like the run would be very different without it. But the status itself is actually a positive for us. What for most players casually would be a negative. Like I myself, when I was playing my casual playthrough for the first time, I used a move called Typhoon from Lune, which every turn would heal your party, and then she has a lot of stuff that can synergize with that. That would like pretty much make it so I can give every character 8 AP and all the buffs automatically at the start of all her turns. But if I ever got inverted, I completely broke that strat. So I couldn't use inverted affinity, and enemies that cast inverted were a big issue for me. In a speedrun, though, it's a big old positive for us. There's never a time where we're sad to have inverted. It's only ever a good thing, because we never intend on getting hit, so we never actually intend on healing ourselves to heal ourselves.
Ooh.
That's right.
There's a lot of cutscene transitions in this map, but I'll probably fail most of them. I haven't gotten used to the new ones where we have to get a glass cannon, but yeah, feel free to explain it, Zero.
Yeah, so this is, in terms of story right now, we went to Old Lumiere to try to destroy this. So first of all, I should start by saying there's a barrier around the monolith that doesn't let us pass, chroma barrier. So our original plan was to go to Old Lumiere and destroy the Patroness's heart that was inside the manor there, but that failed. So we found out from the curator that there's another way to break the barrier, but we need to defeat 2 Axons to kind of get the materials to, or the chroma needed to create that weapon. So this is one of the areas with an Axon, which are like kind of like, I don't want to call it a super boss, that's accurate. It's just like way more powerful than the Nevrons, which is the only thing we fought so far. They're kind of like big time. And yeah, this is one of the areas where we have to defeat the boss here to get one of the materials. And this area is pretty cool in that there's 3 optional paths you can take, or you can go directly to the boss. And obviously directly to the boss would be the fastest. These are pretty big detours, but these areas also have really good pickups that we sadly do need an expert. So right here we're making a big detour and we're going to pick up a Picto called Glass Cannon. It gives a lot of speed and it makes it so you do 25% more damage, but also take 25% more damage. And we don't intend on ever getting hit, so we don't mind taking extra damage. So we are fine in that regard. But yeah, this is just a very big detour, and we sadly have to suffer through it. This is a new patch thing for Glass Cannon. We would always have to do at least 1 here, but the 25% damage here makes up for the final boss more than anything else. It helps out everywhere, but the final boss is the biggest difference in terms of the damage output. So yeah, we get the thing we want, and then we go out with the flag. We got to make sure we talk to that flag early so we can fast travel to it, and then we're going to go to the other area here. Here we're going to get a Picto called Confident Fighter, which is also makes you do 25% more damage, but you can't heal yourself anymore. And that suddenly does count with inverted, so you can't damage yourself by healing yourself if you have this on as well. But the really good thing about that Picto, like the damage is obviously nice, but the big thing about it is that gives you 20% more crit rate, and that is a lot of crit rate on the Picto at this point. Our best Picto at this point in terms of the additional crits like 11%. So that it makes a really big difference. That makes it so at this point we no longer have to use critical burn on Lune to get us to 100% crit. Just the Pictos plus critical moment will be enough. But Yeah, the other thing we still have to do before the boss fight is set up our HP to be low on Verso and Lune, so this will be where we do that as well. There's no enemies on the main path, which is the other big challenge of skipping this. And that's why we make this detour. So we are going to set up our HP here on the group near the entrance that we just kind of passed over. I'm guessing that's for Verso ending, the Resplendent there, if it gets met.
When I went through the route, I was down like 2 Resplendent, so I'm just going to pick up an extra 2, yeah.
Interesting. I'd run into that.
Verso is currently in the lead, but you do still have about 40 minutes if you want to use the ! donate command or use the pin message in the chat. When you make your donations, after you've entered the amount you'd like to donate, you will see that the add incentive bar near the bottom of your screen lights up. You can click that and then donate any portion of your donation to either of our open bid wars, Mael or Verso ending, or to Hug the Goat or Save the Frames in the upcoming Undertale run.
Thank you. So here's our setup fight. The setup fight looks hilarious. Verso tries to heal himself, dies. Lune tries to do damage, dies. And then Minoko's like, well, these guys suck. I'm just gonna run away.
Yeah. Very accurate.
But this is why we invested into Minoko speed earlier at the fighting Old Lumiere, and this is why we gave him Glass Cannon, just to get him past the 650 speed threshold, so he could run away twice in one turn. He has to be faster than the enemies there. Otherwise, the fight does not work, and it will get to move. Now, if that happens, there is a mechanic in this game where if your party wipes, it brings in your secondary party, and it's like the characters that weren't in your main party. You can continue from there, and we'd be able to run away then, but this is just much faster. It saves a lot of time to just be able to run away with the main party and not have to go through the expedition failed, send in another, bring out a new party, and run with them. So
Being able to
really
run twice in one turn makes me think of the SpongeBob joke. Hey, you want to see me run away from battle? You want to see me do it again?
I'm not familiar with the joke, but that still made me laugh.
It's a classic.
Yeah, that's early SpongeBob.
Oh, man. All right, anyway, progression now. We're going to go fight our next boss fight. And this is definitely a boss fight where we feel our lack of damage again from the 20% damage reduction we gotten from our Pictos no longer having secret damage. So we're going to be doing different strat here than what we used to. I think Bito will probably go for the safe one where you're guaranteed to kill, but it's always slower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much first phase is pretty straightforward. We're gonna lightning dance him and that'll take out most of his health, and then we just kind of have to finish him off whilst trying to set up for second phase. But second phase, your inverted falls off, so your damage drops down quite a bit, and is also tankier in general. So the big challenge there is we have to apply defenseless and powerful to get enough damage. But the thing is, it's either you can apply both or you can't. Well, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do a non-boosted one and then apply defenseless and powerful. But then, if Lune needs AP, you don't have the turn economy to do a powerful. Or you can set it up so you do both lightning dances after you do attack and powerful. But if you do it that way, then you'll push him past his half HP threshold and you'll get a pretty long animation out of it. Which is the version we're going to do here, because it's guaranteed. So Verso just applies defenseless, does a berserk slash for damage. There you see the first use of elemental trick, does 4 hits. It's not a lot of damage, but it gives her all 4 stains, and that sets up lightning dance. And then we're gonna lightning dance for near cap. And he will get a move in here. Luckily, this is the same move every time. The move after this move is random, and some of them have very long animations, but he'll never get a second move off in this phase. And this is pretty straightforward. Also throws in a jump attack, which is nice for counter damage. And then for this phase, we're going to set up our kill in a very specific way, so we essentially set up our stains for Lune in the second phase. We're going to finish here intentionally with a gradient. We could finish earlier by doing things a little bit differently, but we're purposely going to delay it. We're also going to tint CL here, so she is guaranteed to have AP for intervention in the second phase. Because in the old route, what you would do is you'd rely on leadership for the AP if you didn't get an attack that generated AP for you. But since you need powerful now, you can't rely on that anymore and be guaranteed to still win in time. So we actually got the good move, funnily enough. But this would have generated AP for us. He likes to do this. It's like, you're going for a safe strat, here you go, have the AoE. You're going for the fast strat, no AoE for you. He's a bit of a jerk that way. Nice dodges. And from here, we just apply our buffs, do our lightning dances, and we win, more or less. So mechanic with this phase is that he has like these 3 masks: anger mask, like sadness mask, I believe, and joy mask. And they all have different effects. Anger mask lets him move twice, which we just saw there. Sadness mask, I think, heals him. Joy mask heals him, I forget which. And the other one applies exhaust on your party. And if you defeat the mask at the end of each detour, it would prevent the mask from doing something. You'd break the masks, but that takes like an extra fight that takes quite a bit of time, so we're not doing any of that stuff. We are fine with him just getting extra moves in. Even though we did take those detours just fix things up. And there you go, Mask Keeper down.
Very nice.
And first Axon down. Well done.
Thank you.
So beautiful thing about this area is before we could only upgrade our weapons to level 9, but this area drops in this next tier of catalysts called Resplendent Catalysts. So now we can go past level 9 weapons, and we're going to take this opportunity to upgrade our weapons for the last time, well no, second to last time in the run. And we're going to upgrade the Light Arm to level 14 and the Cielson to level 11. Funnily enough, the Cielson's only is like his CL starter weapon, and it's only used in the upcoming area, but it is completely necessary to upgrade it for that area. Otherwise, you're just lacking way too much damage. Because this is the first area where we're going to start using CL for damage, so I guess I'll explain that real quick. So CL has like Sun and Moon moves. Sun moves generally apply Foretell, which is like this like card you can see in the like by the enemy's health bar, and then her Moon moves will consume Foretell to do extra damage or do some kind of extra effect. Additionally, when she uses a Sun move, she gets a Sun charge, and when she does a Moon move, she gets a Moon charge. When she has at least one of each charge, she goes into Twilight mode. And Twilight mode, you get 25% more damage for every charge it consumes to enter Twilight mode, so at minimum 50% more damage. And it lasts for 2 turns unless there's other conditions that apply to it that make it last longer. And additionally, the Foretell cap is moved from 10 to 20, and you generate double the Foretell in that mode. We don't care so much about the Foretell stuff, but the 50% more damage from Twilight is very important for us because we're going to need to push our damage a lot here. So like up to this point, we've been using Lune only, and Lune she served us well, but the health bars are getting bigger and bigger, so now we need the extra damage from CL. And the really nice thing about CL is that she has a very good gradient in that it's 10 hits. So multi-hit is very important for us. No other character has a very good multi-hit gradient at this point. And then she has another move called Sealed Fate, which is also 7 hits and does a lot of damage base, especially with the Foretell bonus, so she's going to be hitting very hard.
Yep. Yeah, it's really great seeing both like Lune and CL be big damage hitters from this point on. It's very satisfying to pull off these strats the further you get into this run. Harder too, though. Well, depending on the fight. I'm looking at 2 very specific fights coming up in the next split.
Don't look at her.
Here's another pretty funny fight coming up. Remember that fight we had with Minoko earlier where he ran away? Well, actually, I forgot about this flag, so we'll talk about this first. It's just a stat upgrade flag initially. We're gonna up everyone's stats a bit. We gotta get our crit rates up here, so we're starting to invest into luck more on Lune because she's Go's Content Fighter. We gotta make sure she still has 50% crit rate, so crit moment it goes to 100. But we're also gonna teach CL some new skills here. Card Weaver is a really cool one. It doesn't sound like much. All it does is it does 1 hit with Sun move. It doesn't even apply Foretell. Costs for AP, but it lets you move again afterwards. So you can use Card Weaver combined with a Moon move to get into Twilight mode in 1 turn, which is very powerful. And Sealed Fate is just a very hard-hitting 4 AP move that does 7 hits. And it consumes a Foretell if you don't crit, but we're guaranteed crits every time we use it, so that aspect isn't relevant for us. But yeah, Verso, perfect recovery, kills himself. Lune, Wildflower, kills herself, and sadly CL doesn't have a good way to reduce her health on her own, so she just has to skip her turn and let the enemy do it for her.
That would have been, well, not bad, but it would have definitely lost time.
Yeah. And here you can see the mechanic where if your party dies, it brings in your second party, and you just run away with them. Yep. So you can see throughout the run, like all these force camps after bosses and stuff, like, oh yeah, we get a free heal, yay. No, they're actually really bad for us. We have to constantly set up our HP over and over again. But we can do it somewhat quickly. I think that takes like 20 to 30 seconds right there. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's very impressive, the strats that Zero came up with. Like, most people will look at the fighting strats, but the fights themselves that set up our health to low health, like, they're so quick that I'm very impressed by most of them that Zero found and set up. So they were cool in themselves as well.
Yeah. I do wish there was a better way to do some of them. Like, it'd be so cool if we could do them on bosses, but that's just pretty much impossible to pull off. There's too many variables. Like, if bosses couldn't crit, then we could probably cook something up where we take a certain hit intentionally and set up our stats in this very specific way. But it's, yeah, they can crit, so that's something you have to consider. And then there's the fact that, like, we could do that trick kind of like what we did on Run War 1, where we healed ourselves to do damage. But we only have one healing tint, and we have a turn limit of 3 turns in our inverted as well. So we can maybe get away with it on one character, but trying to do that on 3 characters is just unreasonable. And this is the point where you need all 3 characters to be buffed up with all your low HP boosts. Yeah, I do love that Wildfire's like downside. It's kind of like what carries the run.
Yeah.
I think she has another one. I think it's Sal that can do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to give everyone your advance notice here that the $33 Expedition 33 train is about to take off. We're about to hit 1 hour and 33 minutes. So if you want to use ! donate in the chat, or if you're already over there typing up your comment, now is the right time. Don't forget to use the add incentive feature when you are donating to put it towards, I'll entice you in a couple of different ways. One, what I'd like to hear as part of your comment, in addition to whatever else you'd like to tell us, is either your favorite quote or your favorite song from Expedition 33, because that favorite song conversation has not died down over the course of the run. Two, if everyone donating in this train to help us get over 33K, which is just 10 donations, mind you, if everyone put in for the Mael ending, that would take the lead. And 3, ooh, if there's anything else that you want me to read out, I am more than happy to do it. So put whatever you feel like we all need to hear during this E33 run into your donation comment and send it off at 1 hour and 33 minutes or as close as you can.
Yeah, guys, come on, get the better ending on there. Get the Mael ending. Save the frames.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a bit of a running segment, so if you have anything else to read out, feel free.
Yeah, absolutely. There have already been people helping us get closer to that $33,000 goal that we, you just have to see it happen during Expedition 33. We've got an anonymous donation for $25 with the comment from over in Sydney, Australia, fuck ice.
Fuck ice.
And an anonymous $10 donation with no comment.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's another optional boss right here, the Tissuer. But yeah, we're not doing that. He does adjust how the main boss in this area behaves a bit. I think he gives her shields. But actually, don't think it would make any difference with how we do that fight, even if we beat him. So, but yeah, there's no reason to do that fight. Cool boss fight though, casually speaking.
Yeah.
B does go for a little shortcut here on the left, just to cut out a little bit of movement. But it's a little bit tricky. There's a lot of invisible walls and stuff. I love this game, but I gotta say the platforming can be rough. But here we got our next boss fight coming up, Mr. Glissando. Funnily enough, he is skippable because you can shoot him and kind of just run through him, shoot, run. But that is not allowed in this category, so we do have to fight him. And this is actually the tankiest boss fight we have until final boss fights. So this is why CL is so important. Lune by herself, even hitting max damage and all her lightning dances, can't clear this guy fast enough. Additionally, he has a mechanic where if you don't get him, or if you don't kill him, and you get him a bit under half, he'll eat one of your party members randomly, and we also don't want to see that. So, so far it's pretty close to normal. We tinted CL, so she had the AP to do Card Weaver Intervention. That's a Sun and Moon move, which will put her into Twilight. Lune dances, and we will get 1 of 4 moves here. Nice, we got the highest damage one. This is free jump attack, so you do quite a bit on this. Damage before CL Sun 11 on this patch was really tight. CL Sun 11 was kind of what made the difference and made it consistent. But now we just play defenseless Verso, shoot a few times so we can get the rank to C, so we can cast Leadership, because you need to be able to at least C rank for this move to work. And then we're just gonna set up our Saints for another Lightning Dance. And it's the first time you'll see CL Gradient doing work. So check this out. Just a casual 80,000 damage right there off 1 Gradient bar. And then she interventions Lune, and Lune does another Lightning Dance to finish off the fight. Sadly, Inverted falls off, so we're not hitting cap anymore. But it's good enough.
Yeah.
On old patch, even with a Lighter M13, we would hit cap there for a reference. So we need Lighter M14 to get closer to cap in this version of the route. 20% missing damage is quite a bit. But yeah, that was not the Axon of this area. The Axon is coming up. Her name is Seren. I'll go into some of the plot implications of this stuff later. But Seren kind of has multiple phases to her, but not in the same way that other bosses have, where it's just like the fight transitions of a cutscene and there's a full health bar. She kind of just changes in the fight, but her health bar doesn't change. So once you do about 20% more, 20% of her damage, she'll go frantic. And when she goes frantic, she'll start doing longer, more powerful moves. Like, the first move she does after frantic is this, like, 5-hit AoE that takes, like, 30 seconds extra compared to, like, some of her faster moves. We don't want that. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set it up so we get her just above the frantic threshold with our first turn. And then when she attacks us, we're going to counter. And that counter will push her into frantic. And because she already did her move, she won't do her move that she does when she's in frantic phase. And on top of that, normally she does like 2 moves per turn. She does like whatever move she would have done normally, and then she does 1 move where she tries to charm a party member. And by pushing her into frantic in that moment where she's where you counter that first move, it'll skip the second move as well. So it's a really cool setup that just like cuts out all of her long actions and makes it so she only does one thing in the whole fight. Really cool setup. Yeah, got to switch to the weapon there because, well, you don't have to, but you get a faster fight if you use the Delorem there.
Yeah.
Dueliso's great, but it's very weak, and Delorem is great because it starts you at B rank, so your moves do more damage by default, and you can do leadership right away if you wanted to. So like this Berserk Slash is guaranteed to do cap damage with the Delorem equipped. And then it's the same old Elemental Trick to set up Lunate Lightning Dance, but CL will be a bit different here. We'll still Card Weaver like the last fight. But instead of doing intervention, we're going to do a Twilight Slash, which is just a single hit. It's going to hit cap. Nothing too special about it. It's just really cheap. It's like the nice thing about it. It's only 2 AP. And that'll get her into Twilight, so she'll do 50% more damage now. And nice. You notice in earlier fights, we'd have to unlock, like, apply Powerful and apply Defenseless and all that to make the fight work. But with this version of the route, we actually don't need either. So what we can do here is just Leadership. We do this for the AP, but we also do this for the Gradient charge. If you don't do that Leadership, if you use the Tint instead, you won't have the Gradient here for CL in time. That free AP use does make the difference. And then here we just Gradient again, do a good chunk of damage, and we'll finish with our first Sealed Fate of the run, which won't quite hit cap yet because we don't have a bunch of buffs, debuffs applied, but will be enough to clear the fight.
Yeah.
That's run done. Queen fight.
Very nice.
Very, very nice. You know what else is really nice? All the support coming in from chat with that $33 train. Is now a good time?
Yes, great time.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Littleblob with $33. $33 for 133 into E33. This game is absolutely incredible, and it's all for an absolutely incredible cause. Fuck ICE. $33 in from New Amber. For those who come after, fuck ICE. $33 from Tara with no comment. $33 from Justin. Renoir was right. Amadaska with $25, and the quote, "Those who know not that they are not. Do you know? We are fellows. Those who know not that they are not." Actual You sending in $33. Vidod Mon Ami. We Lost and the DLC boss music are great. $33 to help ensure the correct ending. Fuck ICE. And $33 from a tea tree. With the comment, "My favorite E33 quote, we must accept things as they are, not how we want them to be." Because it's true, but it's also just a first step towards making the changes our world desperately needs. P.S. Fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE. Thank you everyone for the donations, including you.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I always put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah, by the way, Painted Alicia, best quotes in the game, in my opinion. She has like the best dialogue. And it reflects a lot of like, it makes sense too, because she's kind of like the writer of the family. She's the one who's passionate about writing. I'm not sure how much we should go into like story stuff, because I don't know if those people like first time playing it. We haven't covered too much about it in terms of like the Desandres, I guess.
Yeah,
there will be a lot of time to talk about it here, Bo.
Yeah, there would be a lot of time to talk about it. I feel like at this point, like this is when we're starting to get towards the end of Act 2. This is where all the big stuff happens, and you know we're really far into the run. So I think we could talk about it a bit, but just yeah, I guess spoiler alert warning if you completely don't want to be spoiled on anything of the game. Yeah, we'll probably go into some discussions about some things because this game's so cool when you can talk about the narrative and stuff about some things. So yeah.
So yeah,
We've
spoiler
got
warning.
official approval from the really, really longathon account to talk spoilers. So
Let's go.
when you're ready.
All right. Well, let's start with Verso and Renoir. Verso and Renoir. Well, Renoir is Verso's father, and he's been our main antagonist throughout this whole run. He's the one who made Gustav go out to get some milk, you know. And Verso. Verso wants to defeat the Paintress. We never really understand exactly why. The Paintress supposedly, according to Verso, gave Verso and Renoir and like their family immortality, and Verso's kind of just tired of living. And he thinks that she should be defeated, you know. So he tells the expedition that he wants to stop the homage. He's fine with losing immortality, but there's a lot more to it than that. So Verso and Renoir, they are part of the Descendre family. In the game, we see painted Alicia, we'll call her. She has a mask on her. She has a lot of the best dialogue in the game, but you never really get to spend too much time with her. She's there in cutscenes only. You don't really hear too much about the mom, but the mom is actually the Paintress. And man, how do I transition from all this stuff without going too deep into Act 3 stuff? Pretty much, we're trying to go and defeat the Paintress, but you'll notice throughout like the game, there's a lot of parallels. Or you learn a lot about like Verso and Mael, for example. Mael is definitely more of a writer with how she speaks. There's some dialogue in Flying Waters where she's very eloquent. Sadly, we don't hear it in the run because we don't really go to that area of Flying Waters. It's an optional spot.
I guess we head
You can see painted or Alicia's dialogue in like the cutscenes where she's very well spoken. Verso likes to play the piano. He's definitely more musically inclined. There's cutscenes where he plays the piano, Mael, and Mael kind of knows how to sing along with it.
I don't know.
So I guess time for the big spoiler. I'm just gonna go into like Act 3 stuff here. Verso and Mael, they're brother and sister. In a way, anyway. Mael is Alicia from the real world, and the world that we're in is inside a canvas. This is a painted world. In the real world, Verso died. And to cope with her grief, Aileen entered Verso's canvas. This was like originally Verso's canvas. And created like Lumiere and recreated her family, and this is how she coped with grief. Renoir, the real Renoir, then entered the canvas to try to get Aileen out of it because they can't stay in the canvas for too long. It does have health impacts. But time also works a bit differently here. Like, they've been in this canvas for like over 70 years, and it hasn't been 70 years in real life. It's like, I think it's equivalent to like an hour's a year in here. It's like 3 days or so. And eventually Mael, who was burned in the fire that killed Verso, is convinced by her sister Clair to like enter the canvas to try to help get Renoir out of the canvas because there's a war going on between the writers and the painters. The writers were the ones that set the fire that killed Verso. And yeah, that's how Alicia / Mael ends up in the canvas. But as she enters, she gets kind of like painted over and she loses her memory. And she grows up as someone from Lumiere, as Mael. And she always just felt like wrong about her existence, like something is off. Her parents died very young, she was unexpected, and she never quite fit in. She's 16 years old, and she's here on this expedition when she could have still like 8 more years of life in Lumiere. But as you travel through the expedition and like see all these places, she feels like she recognizes a lot of it. It's all very familiar to her and whatnot. I'm not really sure where I'm going for all this. It's just a massive plot dump. I'm sorry. But yeah, we're finally.
We're talking about people's favorite parts of the games, favorite quotes, favorite songs. You know, the plot of this game is such a like crystallizing moment of having experienced this game for yourself. Whether or not you're a speedrunner, the plot just tends to stick with you, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this plot is one of the best plots I've ever enjoyed in like any form of media, let alone like a game. It's so good. It's hard for me to do it justice of my words. Which is why I'm struggling a little bit. But yeah, we're finally in the monolith. We want to defeat the Paintress. And Verso's motivation for defeating the Paintress is he knows he is painted Verso. He knows what happened to like real Verso, and that's why a big part of why he's struggling so much with his existence. Along with various events that happened to him throughout his long life. He's over 100 years old. He's been through a lot of bad shit. But yeah, that's his main motivation for defeating the Paintress, because he actually does care about Aileen, the mother, like the real one, because he has all the memories of the original Verso. and he wants to save her by getting her out of the canvas.
Lovely.
And as for the rest of our expedition, they don't know this. They just want to defeat the Paintress because they think she's responsible for the gommage, and they want to save Lumiere. But it's actually Renoir, the real Renoir, that's responsible for the gommage, and that's actually the curator. Painted Renoir, on the other hand, he knows all this, but he also has his painted family here that Alien created. Well, painted Luisa, painted Verso, and painted Clair, who's been missing throughout this whole game. You do find out what happened to her eventually in Act 3, and it's really messed up. But that's why he's been fighting us this whole time and trying to stop us from reaching the Paintress, wiping out expeditions, because he's trying to save his family, like the painted family that Alien created. And that's why he's the main antagonist of the game, but you can't help but feel for the guy. And then, at the same time, maybe if he was just honest with like the party and didn't kill Gustav, maybe things could have been different. Or Versa was honest, maybe the way that Act 3 ended could have been different. There's a lot of what ifs they can go over with this plot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a big plot dump. Our next big fight is Renoir. That has a really cool strat to it. We're going to set up our HP once beforehand, but if you have any other donations or messages you'd like to read out till then, feel free.
I absolutely do and would like to. I just want to let people know that, well, as I started that sentence, we were about $60 away from 33K, but considering we just hit 33K, I'd like to say 33K, fuck ICE.
Yeah.
And thank you to
go.
the donations that helped us get there. Mother Airboat with 1333, and the quote, "So not only are you intruding, you're here to steal." And also, fuck ICE. And Shelby with $69. A comment in all caps and read as intended. Fuck ICE, let's get to 33K for those who come after.
Let's go. Fuck
Thank you
ICE.
so very much.
Alright, so this is kind of like the monolith here. We go for every area we've been through before, including one we haven't been to before. The one we're in now that we're leaving is Frozen Hearts, which is technically optional. So that one's always a little bit funny. But we're now in the Lumiere section, which is kind of like the final section of the monolith before the boss fight coming up. So we're going to set up our stats here, invest into stats, because we do need them, and we got to up our speed and whatnot. We're also going to learn some new skills here. Seal's going to learn a new skill called All Set. All Set gives all your characters all 3 buffs, Rush, Powerful, and Shell. We don't care about Shell because we get hit, we die anyway, for 3 turns. Shell just ups your defense. But the more interesting one is we're going to give Lune Stormcaller. Stormcaller is a very unique ability in that it doesn't do much on its own. What it does is that for 3 enemy turns, every time you hit them, there will be an extra lightning bolt that hits them. At the end of each of their turns, they will get hit by like 1 bigger lightning bolt. It doesn't do much damage. It's going to hit for like a little bit over 1,000. But the thing is, the boss fight coming up, Renoir 2, he has this whole really annoying phase mechanic where pretty much as soon as he enters half HP, he gets a full heal and summons this big old lion and starts getting double turns, and it extends the fight by a ton. It is very painful. The dodges and parries get much more difficult, and we never want to see that. So we're going to try to set up our HP just right, or his HP just right, so it's just over half, and we're going to try to one-shot him with CL. Because the phase will transition on like pretty much any extra turn after you get him below HP, except a gradient. And half his HP is 185,000. But so that is a lot to melt through with a gradient plus attack. But a gradient can do up to 100,000 CL, 10 hits of 9999, and then 7 hits of CL Sealed Fate with 9999. So that's 170,000 right there. We have 15 more thousand to melt through. That's where Stormcaller comes in. Stormcaller will add on an extra like 1,300 per, or 1,200 I guess on this patch, per hit. So that kind of pushes you over the edge. But on top of that, we can also just shoot with CL with our spare AP. That doesn't count towards the turn count. And all of that combined will let us essentially one-shot him. Even though on this patch, the gradient doesn't actually do cap damage anymore, despite our best efforts, will still be enough. But it is a lot tighter now on this patch than it was on previous patches. So we definitely have to focus here. Make sure he gets as close to half as possible.
Yeah.
So I'll explain it a little bit more as we enter the fight. But that is the gist of what we're going for.
Do a little Picto save for safety right before here.
One of the nicest things about this patch is that now you can like pause the game during combat as long as you're not dead. So if you do accidentally push phase, you can just reload a save, and it won't be nearly as bad as it was before, where you had to like let the lion either kill you or sit through all its attacks and then load a save. Nice little quality of life change in the new patch. Sadly, it doesn't really help speedrunners all that much in like competitive settings because, you know, if you messed up, you don't care about the run anymore anyway. But for a setting like this, it's very handy. Or casually speaking, it's very handy as well. You don't have to sit through a bunch of animations before you can just try again. So there you go, Stormcaller for the first time. We apply some Foretell because we need Foretell to buff our Sealed Fate. Good first move here. The AoEs are really nice because you get to get counter damage from all 3 characters instead of 1. 1 would just hit the damage cap. And on top of that, it does build AP for us, which is handy. Now we're going to attack again, apply Defenseless, and then use Powerful, so we have Powerful in all our characters. By the way, Powerful does not buff Stormcaller damage, but Defenseless does, so it's very important that we get Defenseless for these turns, which is why Exposing Attack is such a big deal, because nobody in this party can apply Defenseless in any other way. Exposing Attack is the only way this group can apply Defenseless. We use Ice Lance there, just to slow him. You might notice that here Vune is the slowest. This is the only fight where she's the slowest. That's because we wanted to have all 3 turns of Inverted for Stormcaller, and if we had her get a turn before CL's per turn, it would wear off too early. So that we would lose damage that way. Alright, so here we gotta control the damage just right, so we get him just a bit over half HP. Looks pretty good to me. Nice. And now we just do a bunch of shots until we have 2 AP left. We probably don't need this many, and you get extra damage gain for his head, which is why B-Dud was doing it there. Do our Gradient, and then with our remaining 4 AP, do a Sealed Fate, and this should clear it.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. Queen fight.
Yeah, I didn't have to add all the shots with CL, but I definitely added them just for insurance, just to make sure I was thorough through it, and I didn't want to take any chances, yeah.
Yeah, better safe than sorry there. You lose so much time if you fail it.
Yep.
All right, and coming up, we have our final real fight anyway, with the Patress. This is the hardest boss fight in this run, for sure. She has 3 phases, she has a ton of help, and her attacks are not easy to parry. We are going to do a tiny bit of setup here, and we're going to put Weakness Gain to Picto we picked up in the Monolith onto Lune over Inverted. The effect of the Picto is useless to us. It's just you gain 1 AP when you hit a weakness. We're never going to do that. But it has really good stats on it. It has a lot of speed, and it has 17% crit. So we're going to replace Inverted with that. And then afterwards, we're going to equip Glass Cannon onto CL and onto Lune, which will give us 25% more damage. We finally learned it off that Renoir 2 fight. And that helps us out in terms of our damage for this fight, because with the new patch reducing our damage from the hidden Picto damage being lost, this did get pretty tight without it. It was still doable, but it was tricky without it. So that makes things a lot simpler. Verso doesn't actually have to do anything on the first turn, so you just skip. And then we're going to do our first Lightning Dance of Lune here. And you can see how, like, this isn't doing that much damage compared to some of the stuff we did earlier. We only got through a little bit more than a quarter, maybe, of 120k. And this is only the first phase of the fight. So, she summoned 7 Meteors here. The targeting here is random. We don't have to parry this, we just dodge. We do want Verso target, though, because we need to get his rank up for leadership. We got at least one, so... it could matter depending on what Lumina you have on him, but we're good here. He did just attack here, I think, for a bit of safety.
Yeah.
Get our C rank up. You might want to fail the key T's on Trick now, just to reduce your damage a little.
That is right, yeah.
Because we're going to want to transition the fight in this very specific way, and there is a chance we over-damage. We want to make sure we don't over-damage her.
Yeah.
So her turn order is scripted, by the way. She will always do these first 4 turns in a row like this. We always know what's coming. And we can use that to our advantage, because she will start doing big AoE moves now, and they will build a lot of AP for us. So we don't have to rely on Merso as much for AP generation, which is very nice. And we did get a good AoE counter damage as well. So here we're going to do another attack, and then we're going to do a Berserk Slash. Just for damage. The attack is necessary to make sure that CL hits hard enough for the Radiant, because we took Inverted off her earlier, so she doesn't hit for as close to cap anymore, even though we got Glass Cannon to replace it. And he does her second Lightning Dance, and this Gradient plus Sealed Fate should nearly kill Paintress, but we want her to be left with a sliver so she gets her next move off. The reason is, we've transitioned on this, like on her by countering her, she'll get 1 less turn at the start of the next phase, and she has one very long move in the next phase that we don't want to see. It's a really cool move.
Okay.
Just being quiet. Yeah, I'm being quiet for a moment there because that move can be tricky to parry.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Am I right to understand at the end of the painter's fight here will be the last opportunity people have to donate towards their choice of ending?
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe a few more minutes
Okay.
afterwards.
Yeah, but no time like the present! Exclamation point! Donate in the chat or head over to the pinned link and make your donations. It is still anyone's game. Funny enough, the $33 train went about right down the middle, so the Verso ending does still lead by about $200, but it's actually slightly closer than it was before if somebody wants to see the Mael ending and save the frames.
Save the frames, get the better ending. Do it, guys. Let's be real, they're both, neither ending is, they're both equally good and bad, but...
Yeah, what was the description? I saw somebody in chat earlier. It's like choosing between being stabbed and being shot.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Alright, we can talk about phase 2 here. The cool thing about phase 1 is we built up a lot of gradients. We'll have enough gradients to just do gradient sealed fate with CL every turn. I think we're just gonna set up for another lightning dance. We reapplied powerful because it's gonna wear off here, and because Verso's A rank, the powerful lasts for 5 turns now, so it's not gonna expire. We are going to parry this for damage, and this will let us skip a Verso attack in the next turn, which will save us time overall. And this move, because of all the extra damage we get from this stuff, we can actually dodge. Nice, all perfect. Queen! Luna actually gets ahead here because her rush wears off later, since she goes 1 turn at a time, whereas CL and Verso keep getting 2 turns. Thanks to Dueliso and Gradients. But yeah, you don't need to attack here because we've stacked enough extra damage, so Berserk Slash is enough. And now we're going to do Gradient Sealed Fate again, and that'll end this phase here and really the fight. The third phase is a victory lap. So GG. This was, unless something goes wrong with like Verso ending, if that gets met, this should be the final parry slash dodge of the run done.
Nice.
Breathe a sigh of relief. There is one annoying thing she can do here, which is heal Verso. I have no sound, so I can't tell. No, it was CL, and since she has Confident Fighter, she's immune from the heal, luckily. If she heals Verso, he loses like his Death's Door buff, so his damage drops quite a bit. And then Divine Strike and Sealed Fate will clear.
Beautiful.
And nice. Queen fight.
And that also marks the end of Act 2. So we do got a lot of stuff like at the start of Act 3 here. You can tell like Zero was explaining a lot of the narrative. All of that's getting like revealed right now. You can tell by how many cutscenes I have to skip right now that there's just a lot to dump. But yeah. So this is technically the prologue that we're going through real fast right now. Going across the manor, we're gonna go meet up with our sister Clair. Gonna jump on the table like a
Oh no! Got stuck.
Messed it up right at the end. Yeah, we gotta reset the whole run, guys. Okay.
Nah, it's also more for fun than anything else. I think to jump on the table. It does save you a tiny bit of time. You can jump across the whole thing, but getting stuck is pretty unlucky. So here you can learn more about what's going on by talking to Clair. She can explain things with Renoir and Eileen, your parents. But we're speedrunning. We don't do any of that stuff. But here Clair suggests that we enter the canvas, help Renoir get Eileen out so Renoir can help her with the war. And that is our intention, but we get painted over and we lose all our memories. So Alicia becomes Mayel and lives 16 years. She's 16 years old in real life, and then she's lives 16 years old in Lumiere as like a new person, essentially. So she's lived 2 lives at this point, like by the time we meet her. Life as a Lumerian and life outside the canvas. But yeah, after all this, she gets her memories back. So now she finally remembers like that this is a canvas, everything that's happened. She knows everything now. And we also unlocked the Painted Power Picto, which lets us finally break the damage cap. And you know who was gated by the damage cap? Mayel. So she's back, baby. She's ready to do some work now. Like Moon ACL, they're still good, but now the best damage dealer will be Mayel again, especially because of one move we can unlock now. It does require skill points to learn, but it was literally locked by the story, and it unlocks in Act 3. It's called Stenhall. It's already been nerfed by 40% and it's still stupid OP.
Yeah, we love Stenhall.
Yeah. It was, I think it was the first patch that I remember for this game, and nerfed Stenhall. Like, I think it's the only move that got nerfed so far. And 40% damage reduction is still incredibly useful.
I don't need. You did what? Of course.
I thought you'd be.
I was.
So here, this is kind of like
And that.
at the end of Act 2, after we defeated the Paintress, everybody got gommaged. This is Mael kind of like using her painter powers to bring everyone back and telling everyone what happened. Verso apologizing to everyone because he knew what would happen when we defeated the Paintress, but he was cool with it. Just kind of like he got his goal either way, you know, it was the only way to get his goal, so he just had to accept that was a consequence of it. But yeah, now that he leans out of the canvas, he's like, all right, I'll help you guys. I'll help you guys save Lumiere and bring everyone back, defeat Renoir.
If you and your
What's the alternative?
maybe.
Which, you know, makes the Verso ending another betrayal, just saying. My ending, better ending.
Yeah, about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no!
I don't know how betrayed you're feeling right now, but if people want to help Vita out and make the run go his way, we've got just minutes left to go for that.
Yeah, like a minute probably at most.
Yeah.
Are you getting shortcuts or no?
No, I'm not gonna get shortcut, but if I do need to do Verso ending, I need to start getting money drops, chroma drops in Lumiere, and the first one's like right after the aberration in there.
Okay,
so yeah, we got like
yeah, we have
1
like
minute.
30 seconds maybe.
Yeah.
All right, if
30
you're
seconds
already
will cut off.
donating, now is the time.
Snipe it! Someone snipe it! I don't think I can punch in
you
my
go.
credit card info fast enough myself. I should have had it
Right,
already.
equip the painted Picto power to your credit card and overbreak the... No, wait, maybe don't do that.
Alright, so there's a lot of optional content that opens up in Act 3. At the end of Act 2, when we're fighting Paintress, Verso was actually holding onto Sori, the rock that lets Eskia fly. So we could have been flying this whole time, but Verso was hiding it, just saying. Jerk. But first thing we do is fly straight to Lumiere and go beat the game because we can, and that's what any percent's all about. So we're just kind of gonna run through here. If the Verso ending is met, we're gonna have to pick up some extra stuff to make it happen because Mael is the better fighter. You know, just saying.
Yep.
I'm really trying to push for this Mael ending.
Yeah. We'll have to close it right now, though.
All right,
What
go
is
ahead
the
and do
answer?
a final refresh for you. And though we raised over $1,033, actually over $1,050 between the two options, so thank you so much for your incredible generosity. We will be
thank you,
taking
everyone.
the extra time to do the Verso ending.
Okay, let's do it.
Kidding, it's cool. Thank you everyone for donating, and fuck guys.
Yeah.
I do think
Thanks
it's cool
also-
to show off the Verso ending because you don't get to see it too often.
Oh yeah, it's super cool. And thanks again, everyone, for reaching over $33,000 on the Expedition 33 run. That's so crazy. Like, you guys are crazy.
I do like
but
that tip. Oh, go ahead.
I was working on Verso ending today because we had this as an incentive on GDQ and we had a good setup for it, but I had to readdress it today a little bit just for current patch. And I like what I came up with, so I'm a little bit happy that I get to show it off actually.
My favorite was a shortcut strat. I thought that one was the coolest. But at the same time, like, it's cool because it's the fastest version, I think. But at the same time, you also get to skip the dialogue with Mael, and it kind of sucks to skip that. I do enjoy the dialogue. But, yeah, I feel like if it's Verso ending, that shortcut route's probably fastest. Anyway, we're just here traversing through Lumiere. Because it's the Verso ending, Vita's making a few smaller detours to pick up some extra Lumina and money. But we're not going to really fight anything here. There is one forced fight, quote unquote. And now like the game makes you fight it to progress, but you can actually run from it. Sadly though, because of the new patch, we can't, and well, it's more because we don't pick up Auto Rash because of how the new patch changed things. It doesn't make sense to get it anymore. We had a cool setup before where we would set up Mael's HP and then run away from the fight. But because we can't do that anymore, we can't get enough speed on CL, we're gonna just let the creation fight kill Mael to get our HP down to 1 because we need that for the final boss. Which is still neat, but not as neat. Ooh, money. I didn't know that was there.
Funny.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a lot of stuff at this merchant coming up here, including for Verso's ending a weapon for him that's actually gonna be able to deal good damage, the Galderim, so it's level 16. Yeah, we are not gonna stick to any level 9 weapon with him. It's just not It is possible, but not fast.
Yeah, the weapon itself isn't consequential. Like the Ultron doesn't have any useful effects towards it with it, but it's just a level 16 weapon we can get quickly, and that makes it worth it. Additionally, we did had to pick up extra money because one of the changes with the new patch is that we have to upgrade Medallion more, and we have to upgrade our other characters' weapons more for earlier. So we burnt more money at the Visage shop than we would have in like the old patch. And like we're gonna burn more money here on Resplendence for Mael's weapon because Mael's weapon has to go higher than before as well. So we just have to spend a lot more now at this merchant. I mean, but we had a lot of wiggle room before. That wiggle room's kind of gone. That's why he's running around picking things up everywhere.
Yeah. And hopefully I have enough Resplendent. Yeah, this was a very small issue I came across earlier. I'm actually going to get this real fast. Just in case.
Can't hurt. Backup's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am curious about the Resplendent count. I wonder if it's an issue of my route or if something happened. I'm hoping it's not an issue of my route. All right, so we're going to buy up to 10 polish here because we need that. Well, actually 8 polish because we're going to need to upgrade our Medallion to level 17, I believe, with this patch. It used to be level 16 on the old one. And then we're also going to buy some Lumina for Verso, a Recode if we didn't have one, I didn't see. We're going to take a flag here and do a lot of stat upgrades, skill learning, weapon upgrades. We got to learn some Verso skills because we're doing the Verso ending. Specifically, we need to learn Overload, which will get him down to 1 HP and give him 9 AP and give him A rank. So here's a weird quirk. Mael, after the final boss,
Friends, can I ask you to take a quick break? I think our live feed is dead. Like your run's still coming through on your end, but I have no idea if the stream sees anything.
Okay, sure. Yeah. The Discord stream is lagging a bit too, so that could be part of it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I am dropping tons of frames. Shoot.
You can close the Discord stream. I'll just go off the live stream once that fixed. That should help with bandwidth.
Okay. Okay,
Not the splice.
All right, friends. We've got all our best people on it. The runners are doing what they can. B-Dad's, cutting the internet cable and looking inside to see where all the frames went.
Yeah.
Friends, we are still working on making sure to get the rocks out of our routers. Sorry, they're not rocks, they're turtles. My apologies. And we're going to finish up a run of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 just as soon as we are able, and internet problems have been sorted. But thank you so much for sticking around with us, whether you've just joined us for Expedition 33 or you've been here since the beginning of the Icebreaker Marathon, a rapid response fundraising marathon benefiting the Women's Foundation of Minnesota's Immigrant Rapid Response Fund. Amazing that we've gotten to 33K during the Expedition 33 run. Like, perfect, no notes, amazingly done. I want also to thank Tantrum Merch, our merch partner for Icebreaker. Event t-shirts start at $28 and hoodies at $50 with stickers, blankets, and hardcover journals also available. $10 every merch sale and 25% of sticker sales are donated to the Women's Foundation of Minnesota's Immigrant Rapid Response Fund, with sales available till February 6th. So if you would like to get some merch to commemorate this weekend and what we've done here together, or those who come after, you can type !merch in the chat or visit tantramerch.com/icebreaker. If you're planning on sticking around with us for the next couple of hours, there's a lot of great stuff to look forward to. Coming up next, there's going to be an Undertale True Pacifist ending run with Jack. And then after that is a mystery race, Alara and the crew. These are always a really fantastic time. If you're the kind of person who likes the runs in marathons where you've never seen the game before, well, now you're going to get to see a run where also the runners have never seen the game before, and they're going to get just as far as they can in about an hour's time. It's going to be an absolutely amazing time. Please stick around for that if you are able to do so. Thank you to our chatters who use the !schedule command so you can see what is available for the rest of today and on into tomorrow. We are all extremely excited for our lead into the finale tomorrow with the likes of Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer from Turtle Run, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim with Musical Daredevil, a glitchless main quest run, Pokemon Legends ZA Rank F Race from New Amber and Spider Sea, the Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS run with the incomparable Char Bunny, into Sonic and 3 and Knuckles with Super Sonic, Hollow Knight Silk Song's Owoo% with Cthulhu, an absolutely delightful run that will spoil you less than other runs of Silk Song might, but definitely worth watching all the same. And into our finale tomorrow evening, A Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild All Dungeons with Cloud. There's so much great stuff, so please, if you are able, please stay tuned. If it is within your means to do so, consider donating, whether it is now to help us choose whether to hug or ignore the goat in Undertale coming up, or for any of the other incentives we have throughout the rest of the marathon. That would be truly, truly amazing of you. While you're making your donations, I'd like to take the opportunity to point out and thank Midwest Speed Fest, the group that is helping co-coordinate the event and also provided the donation tracker. They host annual in-person speedrun marathons in Minnesota with occasional online events as well. A reminder also that Midwest Speedfest 2026 is taking place at VGMCon on April 17th through 19th, and submissions are open right now. So if this marathon is inspiring you, there's no better time and no better way to get involved if you are able to get over to VGMCon and represent the Midwest. You can visit MidwestSpeedfest.com to learn more and to get involved. So as a quick aside, I'd like to know from those of who are watching and who've been around for much of the weekend, what has your favorite run been so far? Like, it's extremely difficult for me to pick because I'm friends with a lot of the runners. I love a lot of these games personally. Restar from Mackie Garreau is always a really fantastic time to see. The opener with Donkey Kong Bonanza, great game, really incredible energy. We had our Punch Cops block, our Kaizo block, both literally and you know, for the wordplay joke of Kaizo block. Just some really incredible stuff yesterday and on through into today. Some of the stuff overnight. The Wavetail run from Drake Le Lion Blanc was incredible, as it always is. So yes, chat mentions that the In a Dream Barbecue run was not to be missed. So thank you for pointing that out. Definitely once the event ends, I know the team will be working as soon as they are able to. Once the other technical details have been wrapped up, to get VODs available, probably on the Really Really Longathon channel, and we'll let people know. So if you are not in the Really Really Longathon Discord, I would encourage you to join so you can keep track of things like that when the VODs become available, any other announcements from the Really Really Longathon and ICEBreaker teams. And yeah, go back and watch anything you missed. I'm hearing word in the chat, so if you are not in a place where you can read the chat yourself, we do have a suggestion that there will hopefully be a rerun of the event starting next Wednesday as well. But yeah, while we have time, we've mentioned a few times about that we are running this event in support of the Women's Foundation of Minnesota and their Immigrant Rapid Response Fund. So what is that? It is a coalition of 32 philanthropic leaders rooted in the communities most impacted by immigration-related harm. So this is like hyper local. These are leaders of movements in affected areas. They ensure that resources move quickly, responsibly, and with accountability of the community to trusted organizations responding to immigration-related emergencies across Minnesota. One of the things on their page that really stood out to me is that this is an organization that is just gotten off the ground with all of their, you know, they were being very thorough. They were making sure that everything is accountable, that they're meeting the needs and getting legal services to people who need them most. Their first weekly grant was made January 23rd, which means the second one was made just yesterday as this event started. And their first round of grants is planned to distribute $1.7 million in aid to 21 different organizations around Minnesota, with grant sizes ranging between $25,000 and $500,000. That means even so far, with this event still having a full day to go, we have funded an entire grant for the Women's Foundation of Minnesota Immigrant Rapid Response Fund, and you should be incredibly proud of yourselves for that. Please give yourself a round of applause, jam emotes, whatever you feel in the chat. Celebrate what we've done so far and what we will continue to do for the Immigrant Rapid Response Fund. I'd also like to take the opportunity to celebrate a couple of recent donations, like an anonymous $10 donation with no comment, but that's getting us even further towards helping fund those grants, and John Dank donating $50. Fuck ICE and kiss my ass. No person can be illegal on stolen land. If you have the time and the interest, I strongly recommend heading over to wfmn.org and taking a look at the mission and the words of the Women's Foundation of Minnesota in their own words. I'm looking at the section right now, like their impact they measure in leadership and community power. They measure their impact in economic justice, in the safety of the community and the people they support, and in well-being and reproductive justice as well. I appreciate that they come at this from so many different angles, and the knowledge that economic justice, especially for affected immigrant populations and for women, is crucial in helping them get the justice and the peace that they deserve in life. In continuing to battle our tech gremlins, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Really Longathon. This particular blurb starts, Icebreaker is hosted by Really Longathon, and here's the crucial part, who are also providing technical and logistics support. So thank you so much to the Really Longathon team for doing that. You are working harder right now than usual, and we greatly appreciate your support and the opportunity to make this event happen. So the rest of the time, when they're not putting on events like this one, Really Longathon is a speedrunning marathon dedicated to showcasing speedruns of longer games and longer niche categories. These are the kind of things that have a difficult time being shown off at other events. So Zell and the team at RRLAT gave those kinds of runs a home, and that's super cool of them. They've been doing this for a long time now. Case in point, their next event is Really Lots of Lore 7. Focusing on story percent or cutscene percent style runs and taking place March 30th to April 14th. Yeah, 2 weeks, and I think it's on the shorter side for really longathon events, if it gives you an idea of the kind of stuff they do here. So if that interests you, please consider following the channel. We're going to take a quick break as we continue to do our tech work here, and we'll be right back with more Icebreaker. Don't go anywhere. All right, everyone, thank you for your tremendous patience and for all the support to Tech Team, because I do believe we are ready to get back to the conclusion of our Clair Obscur Expedition 33 run. B-Dud, you there? You ready to do this thing?
I'm here and I'm ready.
Awesome.
All right.
Let's get back to it.
Okay, I'll count us down and we'll just resume where we left off. So in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So I started doing some things on the flag here. Stats mostly, but now I need to get important skills for Mael. I actually don't need to get that one. I'm just so used to it. I do need to get this for Verso ending. Overload is really important for the Verso ending strat. And I believe that's it, yeah. There's actually more things I need to do in here. I need to do Medallum, very important.
I'd also like you to know, as you do this menuing, that as we started here, I think the timer didn't get stopped during some of our tech stall. But then when they went to start the timer, they hit the run finish button. So you technically finished like 30 seconds under estimate. Good job.
GG!
Okay, let me do this before I forget. Well, actually, no, I'm supposed to do delete, so I'm Medallum. I do have on now. Okay, yeah, we're all good. I think we're good.
Don't forget to kick out the others from your party. I don't know if it's too late. More delay now. For the Gratian fight.
Okay. Yeah, so
Alright, yeah. Anyway, so this is a forced fight we have to enter right here. You can go around this, but luckily you can run away from it. You don't have to kill it. But we need to sub my LHP. Before we would use Last Chance at like intervention her to just run away. But we can't get fast enough to use the intervention and have CO get returned.
I forgot to put on Glass Cannon as a limit of. That's okay, it just takes a little longer.
Yeah.
I'll just have to put that on though as before Renoir. That's where it matters.
Pain and Power gives you a ton of HP, so it's actually a little bit trickier to die intentionally here. But Glass Cannon makes you take more damage, so it's like a nice band-aid. In fact, that was a nice little game reminding you to put on Glass Cannon moment, so thank you, game.
Yeah, thank you, game. All right, here we're about to come up to the big bad, the final boss. Or what we think is the final boss. So let me put these guys on and make sure you get Glass Cannon.
Needs Lumina.
Right.
There's a flag right behind us, it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky getting back into a run after taking like a 15-second or 10-minute break or however long that took.
Yeah. Gotta remember where I was and everything. But yeah, it's all good because that's all I need, and yeah, we're good to go into this. And this is a really cool fight. Yeah.
I think all the Renoir strats, which is who we're fighting again, by the way, happen to be the coolest strats of the run. Each one of them is like very unique, but it has like such cool tech to it. So this is Renoir 3. He has 766,000 something HP, and he has 2 phases. And at the start of his second phase, he is going to summon the Descendre de la Canvas. Yeah, that's fine. Is that okay? That's fine. That was a bit of a different turn order. That was a little word.
Oh yeah, this is how it's been for me when I've been doing this.
Okay. Yeah, it works out either way. She'll still get 5 for intervention. But yeah, the Descendre Canvas gives him every buff, including Shell, and that lowers our damage a lot. And we don't want that. We also don't want to see him move, and it gives him Rush, which gives him a lot of speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to just barely not kill him by purposely not getting double perfect on our Stenhall to leave him a bit of HP. We're going to get Mael to go again, and then we're going to do a Gradient. And that Gradient, we set it up just right, so that Gradient will push him into the next phase, so he gets his full heal now. But because it's a Gradient, we get to act again instantly after. So he doesn't get to summon the canvas, he doesn't get to do anything yet, he doesn't get to attack us. And now, because he never got to do anything, he still has his defenseless buff on him. He never got Shell, and we can just do the exact same thing again, but not fail the dual perfect Stenhall this time to get the full damage multiplier, and we're done. Now we just get to enjoy the cinema. All of this is sadly unskippable. So you just got to sit back, drink some water, enjoy.
Yep. We do have a surprise final fight after this, though. And this is what you all donate towards either Mael ending or Verso ending. they are going to have a little tussle. Also, I made Verso so fast here. It's part of Verso ending, so we just got to skip him. But still, Verdnoir doesn't get a turn. It's kind of funny how that works. But yeah, we have a fight coming up. We will be fighting as Verso. That's what you guys chose. So I'm going to have to suit up Verso with some Pictos at the start here. Once we like load in. The main aspect is just like, you know, making sure we equip the new weapon we got on him, but also like making sure he can generate enough AP to use his skill that brings him down to 1 HP.
Yeah, so and the skill we're talking about is Overload. It costs 6 HP, 6 AP, which is honestly quite a bit. But yeah, the reason this is kind of necessary is because for some reason, after the boss fight we just did, Mayel doesn't get healed. So she's set up for like the ending fight if we use her. But Verso, even if we set him to 1 HP before we did that fight, for some reason he gets full healed entering this area every time. So we can't prepare Verso ahead of time. We have to get his HP low during this fight. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. That should be good though.
I don't actually know how you've changed.
Yeah, I have a lot of. I shouldn't have been able to afford Glass Cannon, so makes me think that I messed up Illumina on him, but I'm sure it'll be good. Fight as Verso.
Yeah, that is the hardest part of doing the Verso ending, actually choosing Verso, because we're so used to my ending.
Right, so we're so fast here that we get 2 turns in a row. We're going to use our first turn to go do this, to get to low health, then we're going to do a Berserk Slash with the new level 16 weapon. And that does pretty good damage, but it's not enough. But Mael is just going to be like, Verso, stop! So she just wastes her turn here, so we'll be able to do another slash next turn, and it'll be GG's. Sorry, Mael. Get out of this canvas. And that is time.
GG's.
GG.
Thank you. Yeah, we had it was a little rocky start with Act 1 with bad RNG and just like the fights going so slow, but everything executed really well. I didn't have to restart a single fight, so really solid run in general.
Yeah,
so,
CL didn't count as a restart because the game crashed. Yeah.
Right, I forgot about that. Yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
That was the game crashing. Nothing you could do.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Zero, for helping commentate on all of this. Like, your commentary during this helped me so much to focus on everything. It was so good just hearing you go in on all the explanations. So thank you so much for helping me out with the commentary.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, you both did an absolutely terrific job. If there's anything else you'd like to say, you know, where people can find you, anything else like that, by all means.
Me and Zero will be on our Twitch. Me Beta5 001337. But we'll be continuing to do Expedition 33 speedruns. We're actually working on Super Bosses % right now, which is quite exciting. So if you guys are interested in that, I definitely recommend checking both of us out.
Yeah, golden category is to beat all the DLC super bosses. I did my first run of it yesterday or 2 days ago, and it was under 3.5 hours. Well, load removed, so it's pretty cool. You can do it that quickly. I'm very excited to showcase that a bit more once I get the chance.
Oh yeah, we'll absolutely be looking forward to seeing that happen at future events once that route is solidified in the way that I know you both are absolutely gonna, you know, put your noses to the grindstone and make it happen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to showcasing myself. One final thing I want to say is, fuck ice.
Yep.
Fuck ice.
I didn't say that with as much conviction as I wanted to, because I was also going to say, if you guys are interested in the speed run, go join the Discord. Everyone's really cool there, and you can learn anything you need to learn, ask any questions you need to ask. And one more time for good measure, this time with conviction, fuck ice.
Yep, can't say it better than that. Thank you so much to both Zero and B-Dud for an absolutely fantastic run of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 on Expert. But if you like games that give you feels, don't go anywhere, because coming up right after this, we're going to have a run of Undertale New Game Plus True Pacifist with Jack. And when we come back and you hear your next host, you will be listening to the runner, the host, the organizer of Legend, Helix herself. So don't go anywhere and stick around for more ICEBreaker.